83%. Chapter 421 Mom, how do you eat these grapes? In Nangong Li's view, there are only so many seeds in that bag, and how many fruits can be planted at one time? But when she saw Qin Tian put 50 watermelons and 10 baskets of grapes on the trading panel, her beautiful eyes straightened in an instant. Boss, why have you traded so much? Do you have any more? See each other's information. Qin Tian replied with a smile. Don't worry, I harvested more than 900 watermelons and more than 2,000 bunches of grapes this time, and there are still 2.5 bags of seeds you gave. If you finish eating, let me know when the time comes, and I will trade it for you. This so much. See the amount of this harvest. Nangong Li's pretty face was dull. By the way, Nangong, are there any God-favored people on Yaoguang Island now? And at this moment, Qin Tian suddenly sent her a message from 937, asking. The ice snow smart Nangong La knew what Qin Tian wanted to ask in an instant. Immediately replied, yes, there happened to be a God-favored person who hadn't left yet. Boss, do you want him to help bring these fruits to your sister-in-law and your daughter? Qin Tian asked directly. Yes, how can it work? Nangong La thought about it. Immediately, she thought that the people in the live broadcast room could not see her chat content, so she replied immediately. Boss, don't wait any longer. This man of God is an official literati. He came to Brother Lang to urge Brother Lang to prepare vegetables and food. I think you should wait for Brother Lang to call in the man of God from the military. Let's trade later. See Nangong Li's information. Qin Tian understood immediately in his heart. He replied directly, okay, no problem, let me know when the person leaves, and I'll contact Brother Lang again. The chat is over. After another hour of waiting, Nangong La sent him a message. Boss, he left. I told Brother Lang for you. He said that he has notified the military department, and someone from the military department will come in soon. Understood. Thank you, Nangong. Say hello to each other. Qin Tian immediately sent a message to Lang Lai. Brother Lang, when will you arrive? Return coldly in seconds. It's already here, send it now. Seeing this, Qin Tian didn't hesitate. Immediately sent over 200 watermelons and 150 baskets of grapes. These are not low quality, and they are also fruits grown by the Genesis level planting cabin. The shelf life can be stored for at least 1 month at room temperature without breaking. So Qin Tian doesn't have to worry about the fruit going bad. And the 200 watermelons and 150 baskets of grapes were not all for his wife and daughter. It's the same as Washa of Earth Star. Blue Star's Yanlong Empire also focuses on human relationships and sophistication. Since the military department dispatched 50,000 Imperial Guards to help his wife last time. That's reciprocity. He, Qin Tian, naturally had to show something. Brother Lang, these 200 watermelons and 150 baskets of grapes, among which 150 watermelons and 100 baskets of grapes are for the military department, so I would like to thank the military department for their care of my wife and the past 6 months for the care of my daughter. Please send the remaining 50 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes to my wife. See this message from Qin Tian. I froze for a moment. Then he sent a message with a grin on the corner of his mouth. No problem, originally I was still thinking about whether I should mention you kid. Unexpectedly, you thought about it yourself. With Qin Tian's instructions, Lang Lai also helped Qin Tian operate. Extracted all the watermelons and grapes in the trading panel. Looking at the emerald green watermelons and the purple grapes, even the iron-blooded and tough guy couldn't help but swallow his saliva. But he quickly dispelled the idea in his mind. He said to the young man sent by the military, Xiao Zhang, take out these 200 watermelons and 150 baskets of grapes, among which 150 watermelons and 100 baskets of grapes were donated to our army by Qin Tian. For the ministry, it's thanks to our military department for taking care of their wives and daughters in the past 6 months. The remaining 50 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes will be delivered to Muningshe in Zhongzhou City in person. Remember, you deliver it in person. 50 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes must be delivered to Muningshe little by little. He asked again and again coldly. The divinely favored person solemnly paid a military salute. Take orders and go. Bringing those watermelons and grapes into the light of the portal. Leaving World of Warships. Zhongzhou. When Muningshe took her daughter Qin Xiaoxiao to the supermarket. After having a meal at a restaurant outside at noon. She suddenly received a call from a stranger. She got on the phone with some doubts. Only a respectful voice came from the microphone. Hello, is this Ms. Mu Ning Shuimu? Mu Ningxie responded curiously. The other side continued. Hello, I am Zhang Hao, the second lieutenant of the Zhongzhou military base, and I have been ordered to show you the watermelons and grapes that General Qin Sheng planted in World of Warships. Hear what the other party said. Mu Ningxie was stunned for a moment, and confirmed with some disbelief, watermelon and grapes. Zhang Hao nodded. That's right, Ms. Mu. General Qin took out a total of 200 watermelons and 150 baskets of grapes this time, including 100 watermelons and 100 baskets of grapes, which General Qin donated to our army. The purpose is to thank the military department for taking care of you in the past 6 months, and the remaining 50 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes must be handed over to you in person. When Mu Ningxie heard that, she still wanted to play outside with her daughter. Immediately, he took Qin Xiaoxiao to the parking place. Mom, are we not playing? The little girl asked with some unfinished thoughts. Little boy, let's stop here today. Although Dad can't let us eat watermelon and grapes in 0.1, but he sent someone to deliver watermelon and grapes to our house. We have to go back and sign for it. Mu Ningxie told her daughter the reason. Wow, did Dad send out watermelons and grapes? Mom, let's go back quickly. Qin Xiaoxiao immediately found her own SUV. After running to the rear driving seat, he quickly got in. Mu Ningxie couldn't laugh or cry watching this scene. Then drove back home. I signed for the 50 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes from Zhang Hao. After signing for these fruits, after washing it casually, he put a bunch of grapes on a plate and gave it to his daughter. Qin Xiaoxiao pulled one off and asked curiously, Mom, how do you eat these grapes? Do you put them in your mouth without peeling the skin? 84%. Chapter 422 Separate, Target the Sea of Death. In the face of her daughter's inquiry, Mu Ningxie nodded with a slightly sour heart and said with a smile, yes, if it is sold outside, the skin must not be eaten, but this is a pure natural pollution-free grape grown by your father in the planting cabin of World of Warships, wash the dust on it and eat it directly. Mu Ningxie taught her daughter. Qin Xiaoxiao heard Mu Ningxie's words. Immediately put the grape in his hand into his mouth and bite hard. Instantly, the sweet and delicious juice immediately overflowed his mouth. The sweet and refreshing taste instantly conquered the little girl. She said with extremely bright eyes. Wow, Mom, this is so delicious. No wonder Dad said that you love grapes the most, and I will love grapes the most in the future. By the way, Mom, can we call Teacher Li over? I want Teacher Li to also eat grapes. Taste grapes and watermelon. No problem at all. Hearing her daughter's words, Mu Ningxie immediately took out her phone. That's all. When Mu Ningxie started calling Li Changxi, Shakelight Island in World of Warships, another divinely favored person from the military department walked in. Return to Lang Lai. General, Zhang Hao has delivered 100 watermelons and 2150 baskets of grapes to Mu Ningxui's mother and daughter. P.S. It is 100 watermelons, there is a typo in the previous chapter. After confirming coldly and repeatedly, after getting an affirmative answer, he just nodded in satisfaction. Immediately notified Qin Tian of this matter. Xiao Tian, your watermelons and grapes have been delivered, and I left 100 watermelons and 50 baskets of grapes for your wife. See the cold message. Qin Tian immediately replied. Thank you, Brother Lang, I don't have many rich watermelons and grapes in my hands now. You can eat these 10 watermelons and 10 baskets of grapes first, and I'll send some more when these fruits are ripe next time. At the same time, there is also a transaction panel. Without saying a word, Lang directly closed the trading panel. Angrily sent a message. Don't come here, kid, I'm not trying to get these fruits for you. If you want to eat them, just trade them with you. Seeing the coldness and unwillingness to accept it, Qin Tian smiled and didn't insist. Anyway, Nangong La also has a lot of watermelons and grapes. At that time, the girl will definitely share it. Itinerary for the next few days. Everything became calm. It was past 5 o'clock this afternoon. After more than 10 days of voyage, Qin Shui's fleet finally arrived at the sea area where the Yaoguang Island is located. His radar hadn't detected the patrol fleet on the outskirts of Flux Island. Lang Lai over there sent him a message asking, Xiao Tian, has your fleet arrived in the waters of Yaoguang Island, 4 aircraft carriers, 1 battleship, and 6 cruisers? When you receive a cold message, Qin Tian couldn't help being a little surprised. You must know that his side is still more than 200 kilometers away from Yaoguang Island. As a result, the opponent's detection radar had already discovered his fleet. What is the quality of this detection radar? Mythical level, or Genesis, And in the face of cold inquiries, Qin Tian also answered directly. That's right, this is my fleet, we will be able to reach Shark Island in the evening. Tisk tisk tisk, your fleet is a bit powerful. With 4 aircraft carriers, the ordinary god chosen would be very proud if he could have one of them. It's good for you, kid, just get 4. You're not afraid that your number of fighter jets on board is too small, in vain wasting resources. To this, Qin Tian just smiled and replied, not afraid. Wait until after 6 o'clock in the evening. He finally detected a large fleet on patrol. Show your identity when you get there. The 2 warships immediately led Qin Tian's fleet through numerous patrol teams. Soon came to the port of the island. Under Lang Lai and Nangongla have been waiting for a long time. Reunion. The 3 of them were naturally extremely happy. After a big hug with Lang Lai, he patted him on the shoulder coldly and laughed. Good boy, you are really getting better and better. 4 aircraft carriers, 1 battleship, 6 cruisers, don't tell me that you got them all by attacking the Lot family of. To this, Qin Tian shrugged his shoulders, spread his hands and said, except for an aircraft carrier, the rest of the warships were all seized from the Lot family. There is no way, those big capitalists are too enthusiastic, they have to give it away, or they don't want to. Kind of. Ha ha ha. Seeing his appearance, Lang Lai and Nangongla couldn't help laughing. Boss, don't take advantage of it and act like a good boy. Okay, let's go, let's not get drunk tonight. Lang Lai immediately walked towards his stone house with his arms around Qin Tian's shoulders. 3 rounds of wine, 5 flavors of food. The 3, who were a little dizzy from drinking, chatted until midnight before going to sleep. Nothing to say all night. The next day, after waking up, Qin Tian went back to his battleship to wash up. Immediately, they took Rui, Weiyu, Li Yao, and Yun Yan to carry the Tianshu Island's monument to the island. At the same time, they also took down a dozen watermelons and several baskets of grapes from Yu Hai. After work, Qin Tian asked Yu Dai to cut up the watermelon on the spot. Then he greeted Lang Lai, Nangongla and the nearby soldiers to eat fruit 770. At the same time, he also handed the island monument transfer scroll bound to Tianshu Island to Lang Lai. Brother Lang, Nangong, I'm going to leave soon, take care of yourself. Quote. What? Ready to go? Lang Lai was a little confused when he heard that. No, Xiao Tian, are you going to leave now? At least stay for 2 more days. That's right, boss, you only stayed here for 1 night after all your money. It's rare to come here, and your stay here is too short. Nangongla also said, facing the words of the 2. Qin Tian shook his head, and sighed helplessly. I also want to stay for a while longer, but I can't. I have to go and see what's going on in the copy of Sea of Death, and if I go to occupy for the development of the God-level treasure island, I still have to brush forgotten treasure for a while. The time is relatively tight, so I can only wait until the next time I have time to get together again. That's it, then it should be. If you want to get together whenever you want, you should put your career first. Besides, you are the hope of our human civilization. It is right to be motivated, but don't be too tired. Be careful when you download the dungeon. Point, what are you going to do with this Sea of Death dungeon? Shall I send some people to go with you to experience it? Looking at Qin Tian coldly, he asked curiously and wanted to help. 84%. Chapter 423. The Crown Princess of the Qingxing Empire. Look at the time. There is still about half an hour before the live broadcast starts. Then face the cold proposal. Qin Tian refused without thinking. Stop, Brother Lang, don't get excited. This Sea of Death dungeon will attract 50 countries if not 100. We alone probably won't be enough to give those people teeth. You kid know you're going. Hearing Qin Tian's words, he said coldly and angrily, aren't you also running to give someone's head? That's right, boss, I've been watching the World Chat channel for the past 2 days, and they're all talking about Sea of Death dungeons. It seems that the fleets of the Chosen in many countries have all set off. Even if we want to go, you should also avoid this time period and go next month. Nangongla beside him also spoke to persuade. Go again next month. Hearing this, Qin Tian's heart moved, as if he had caught some clues. He looked at the other party and said, Nangong, go on. Ah, Nangongla was dumbfounded by Qin Tian's words. You asked me to go again next month, so you must have a reason in your heart. Tell me what you think. Qin Tian looked at her and said, well, that's what I think, Yin. Seeing that Qin Tian seemed to be moved by him, Nangongla regained his energy immediately, and immediately told Qin Tian his thoughts like beans. Boss, I learned the details of the treasure house of the Chengxing Empire from my crew. Not to mention the blueprints, battleship armaments, firearms, and mechs in it. There is a high probability that they will be eroded by the time of an era and can no longer be used. However, there may still be a lot of good things like crystal mines that can upgrade battleships and manufacture high-level equipment. And since I can know these things from the mouths of the crew members under me, there must be other God-chosen who can also know. So the information you revealed is so explosive that it is not an exaggeration to call it a mushroom bomb. In this case, once you, boss, appear in that sea area, I am afraid that you will become the target of public criticism in an instant. Say nothing else. Just the name of the treasure house of the Yuan Chengxing Empire in the last era. I don't know how many people will flock to it, trying to catch you and force you to open the door of the treasure house. Quote. Hearing this, Qin Tian nodded without any excuse. He didn't need to use his brain on this point, and he could think that this was the case. I only heard Nangongla continue to say, since this is the case, then boss, you might as well go to the Forgotten Treasure dungeon first. Sea of Death, let's let it go there first, and gather so many God-chosen ones in there at once. Coupled with the inherent contradictions among many countries. It doesn't take much, as long as you don't show up for a week, those conflicting God-chosen from various countries may have to break out violent conflicts. Coupled with the large number of corruptor warships in the dungeon, as long as you don't show up for a long time, those foreign devils who want to take advantage of you will definitely suffer heavy casualties. Quote. Hearing Nangong Li's words, Qin Tian's heart suddenly became clear as if the clouds were clearing the sky. That's a really good idea. Qin Tian nodded, but then he was a little surprised again. Listen to what the other party means. It seems that the crew member under this girl is also from the Chengxing Empire. Nangong, can you call your crew over? The curious Qin Tian asked Nangong La. Ah, boss, what do you want to do? Nangong La looked at him vigilantly. We are talking about the dungeon, why did you suddenly ask my crew? Let me tell you, my crew is very beautiful, so don't have any extravagant thoughts. Quote. Qin Tian heard this. The corners of his mouth twitched uncontrollably. Stinky girl, what's going on in your mind? I think your crew should be from the Chengxing Empire, and I also have people from the Chengxing Empire under my command, so I just want to make sure. Hearing Qin Tian's words, Nangong La stuck out her tongue with a grin and said, You're kidding, boss, it scares you. Wait a minute, I'll send someone to call her. Following Nangong La, he found a soldier and gave some instructions. The soldier immediately rescued and ran towards the port. It is clear, the crew member of Nangong La was in her battleship. And Qin Tian also asked Yu Dai to call Rui, Yunyan and Su Jian over again. Not long. I saw a beautiful woman wearing a white navy uniform, with exquisite features, and her hair tied back in a single ponytail. The whole body was filled with the demeanor of a royal sister, walking quickly with 10 soldiers. Captain, are you looking for me? The woman walked up to Nangongla and asked with a meticulous military salute. Miss Feifei. Seeing the woman coming, Nangongla immediately stepped forward to grab the woman's hand, stretched out his palm to Qin Tian and said with a smile. Come on, let me introduce you. This is Qin Tian, the general of our Yanlong Empire. Boss, this is what I told you about my crew, Chu Feifei. Hello, Qin Han. Although he was a little surprised that Qin Tian was able to become a general of the military at such a young age. But Chu Feifei didn't show much surprise. Just a very plain greeting. Hello. Qin Tian nodded and didn't say much. He just silently used the divine detective technique on the opponent. Name, Chu Feifei. Speciality, driving and fighting. Talent, SS plus level. Talent skills, mastering fighting skills SS level. Driving any combat unit can stimulate its own potential, increasing attack by 200%, agility by 200%. Driving a combat mech can increase the fighting instinct by an additional 50%. Characteristics. When entering the battle state, increase the damage bonus of the battleship on duty by 10%, and reduce good 20% of the battleship's reloading time. Introduction. The eldest daughter of the Chu family of the 12th family of the Chengxing Empire, the imperial concubine, with a noble status and a talent for control far beyond ordinary people. The fleet of the great universe civilization fought, and died in the invasion of the twin Sauron civilization at the age of 37. Hiss. After reading the attribute list of the other party, Qin Tian couldn't help the shock in his heart. He is really a member of the Chengxing Empire. And what a princess. Good guy. When Rui and the others come, they won't be directly given to Zhaoan by the other party, right? At this moment, Qin Tian suddenly regretted letting Yu Dai call Rui and the others. Sister Feifei, the boss asked me just now to know if you are from the Chengxing Empire. The boss said that he also has several crew members from the Chenstar Empire under his command. Nangong Le said to Chu Feifei. 84%. Chapter 424 Genesis YL 3000 Gas Turbine Blueprint. And heard Nangong Li's words. Chu Feifei's already clear eyes suddenly became brighter. Mei Mo turned slightly, and after she shifted her gaze to Qin Tian's face, her red lips parted slightly and asked, I don't know what the names of the people from the Chengxing Empire that General Qin mentioned are. The corner of Qin Tian's mouth twitched. But I didn't want to hide it. So far, Su Jian's loyalty to him has not reached the level of die-hard loyalty. But there are also 99 points. He didn't believe that 99% of his loyalty could be offset by just being the other party's concubine. Therefore, Qin Tian said directly. Speaking of which, their identities are not simple. There are Rui from the Yan family, Yun Yan from the Yun family, and Su Jian, the director of the engineering department of the Chengxing Empire. Hearing these three names reported by Qin Tian, Chu Feifei's glamorous face instantly revealed a look of surprise and excitement. General Qin, are you telling the truth? Are they all alive? Qin Tian nodded at this, and said, yes, they are all alive. Captain, are you looking for us? And at this moment, Yun Yan's voice sounded in the distance. Not for a while. Su Jian brought Rui and Yun Yan over. It's just that they soon saw Chu Feifei beside Qin Tian. All of a sudden, 910 was taken aback, hastily bowed respectfully and said, I have seen the crown princess. Chu Feifei shook her head, stretched out her hand and said tentatively, the empire is gone, where is the princess, Mr. Su, Rui, and Xiaoyan? It's great to see you again. Have to say, to be able to become the crown princess of the Chengxing Empire, which looks down on a galaxy empire, really has a few brushes. Facing the long-lost old friend, she didn't cry, and she didn't make a fuss. Instead, he chatted with a few people in a very gentle, generous and natural manner. Boss, what are the ranks of your 3 crew members? I saw Chu Feifei chatting and laughing with the 3 crew members of Qin Tian. Nangong Le also quietly moved to Qin Tian's side, and asked in a low voice, the Miss Fei I rescued is a crew member of SS Plus rank, and she usually treats my ordinary crew members with a kind of sympathy. Unattainable, with an overbearing appearance, why is this an attitude of being equal to the 3 crew members, big brother? Qin Tian was amused by her words, and answered her question in a low voice. My 3 crew members, that cold and proud young man is SS plus CBDH talented, he is the eldest grandson of the Yan family of the 12 aristocratic family of the Chengxing Empire, it is S plus talent, and she is the prostitute daughter of the Yun family of the 12th family of the Chenstar Empire. As for that old man, with SS plus talent, he is the head of the engineering department of the Chenstar Empire. After listening to Qin Tian's words, Nangong Li's small mouth suddenly opened into an O shape. He stared dumbfounded at the 3 crew members under Qin Tian. Young life. The talent levels of these 3 crew members are actually so high. Even the coldness on the side is twitching from the corners of his eyes. It feels like I have suffered a 100-point crit. Take a look at the crew of others. Either S plus or SS plus. Look at yourself again. Hundreds of people were searched and rescued. The highest quality crew is the A plus talent. This is really the death of people, and the comparison of goods is tossed. And finally, what worried Qin Tian didn't happen either. Chu Feifei didn't poach his corner. It's just that after recounting the past with Rui and the others, they returned to Nangong Li's side. Seeing that the time has come to more than 8 o'clock. After Qin Tian said, take care, he prepared to take his crew to the port to board the ship. Boss, wait a minute. But at this moment, Nangong Le suddenly stopped him again. Nangong, is there anything else? Qin Tian looked at the young and beautiful girl in front of him and asked suspiciously. Boss, I observed from the radar yesterday and found that there seems to be some problem with the power of your battleship. You walked for more than 3 hours for a 100-kilometer journey. Is your current speed only 25? Nangong Le looked at Qin Tian and asked. Hear each other's questions. Qin Tian also nodded helplessly, and said, that's right, I don't know why, I can't always drive a better power machine. The gas turbine with more than 30 knots used to be. Now as the battleship gets bigger and bigger, the motivation is also getting less and less. This is indeed his weakness. If it weren't for his unique title of Xinhai Overlord, there would be an additional increase in speed of +5. I'm afraid his goddess of Nemesis will directly become a turtle-speed aircraft carrier. Boss, hold out your hand. Nangongla brought Chu Feifei to Qin Tian, and said with a smile. What? Qin Tian asked puzzledly. Oh, boss, you just need to stick it out. Nangongla said coquettishly. Qin Tian was helpless. He could only stretch out his right hand. Snapped. And then very crisp. Nangongla took a picture on his hand. This is. Qin Tian picked up the blueprint with a dazed expression and looked at it. When the big characters above Genesis YL 3000 gas turbine drawing came into his eyes, Qin Tian's pupils shrank suddenly, and then he immediately grabbed the other's hand that hadn't completely retracted, and directly slapped the drawing back. No, this blueprint is too expensive, I can't take it. Qin Tian said without thinking. Oh, boss, when did you become such a mother-in-law? I am using a set of myth-level gas turbines on my battleship, and the sailing speed is 34 knots. Compared with me, you obviously need this gas turbine now. Drawing. Saying that, Nangongla pursed her lips, handed the blueprint to Qin Tian with some displeasure, and said, besides, it's not for nothing. The watermelon, punin, and amethyst dragon you harvested in the future, sir. The tooth rice is ripe, so you have to trade me more. Hear this. Qin Tian knew that this girl was determined to give him this blueprint today. And he really needed this blueprint. So he no longer refuses. After reaching out to take the blueprint, he said, okay, I really need the gas turbine blueprint. In this case then I will trade amethyst dragon tooth rice to you at the battleship shop in about 10 or so hours. Anyway, it won't take many days. The new batch of amethyst longya rice planted in the sea is about to mature again. Trading 3,000 jin to Nangongla won't affect anything. Say thanks. After saying hello and farewell to the two of them, Qin Tian took Yu Hai, Rui and the others back to the battleship. With the sound of dull sirens, Qin Tian's goddess of Nemesis led the other 10 warships to slowly leave the port. Sail towards the distant sea. 84%. Chapter 425 Chongshi, you want to find a mistress for Qin Tian. In the villa area of Zhongzhou, Li Chengxi watched the scene in the live broadcast room. She looked at Mu Ningxie with some worry, and said, Xiaoshui, don't think too much. Nangongla has already said that Qin Tian will trade more watermelons, grapes and Zijing Longya rice to her in the future. More, obviously this is a deal. With Qin Tian's love for you, he will definitely not change his mind. Li Chengxi, who was called by Mu Ningxie and her daughter to eat fruit yesterday, never expected that the first thing she saw when she woke up this morning and opened the live broadcast room was such an explosive scene. At this moment, she wished she could take Mu Ningxie back to bed and sleep for half an hour before getting up. Facing Li Chengxi's words, Mu Ningxie murmured and said, Chengxi, see if you can use your relationship to help me check the details of Nangongla and see how her family is. Boyfriend, is it a perfect body? The background is not clean. Xiaoshui, why do you ask me to check these things? You. Don't mess around. Hearing Mu Ningxui's words, Li Chengxi turned pale with fright, and hurriedly persuaded him, Qin Tian didn't do anything, you ran like this and killed the whole family, if you make a mistake what about killing innocent people? She was really afraid that Mu Ningxie would drive the spaceship to fly over on impulse and blow up the entire city where her family was. At that time, instead of destroying a city in the hands of invading alien creatures, it will be destroyed in the hands of his best friend. That would be a great sin. Although she can also understand that a woman hurt by love is irrational. But the law is still there after all. Destroying the city and destroying the land is unbearable for any empire. But in the face of Li Chengxi's words. But Mu Ningxie couldn't help laughing, and said, what are you thinking, girl? I want you to help me check the other party's background and relationship history. If it's clean, I'll go there, shake Light Island, do ideological work for the other party, and see if a big girl like him is willing to marry a married man like Xiaoshan. Oh, so that's the case, then I'll wait. Wait, Xiaoshui, what did you just say? Find Qin Tian's mistress, don't you have a fever? Li Chengxi said and put his hand on Mu Ningxui's forehead. I want to see if Mu Ningxie has a fever. Go, you just have a fever. I'm serious, okay. Also, what is Xiaoshan? It's so ugly. Mu Ningxie angrily knocked off her hand and said. This. But, why? Qin Tian is so good, are you willing to just push him out like this? Li Chengxi is really a little confused by Monk Zhong-er. Mu Ningxie smiled wryly when she heard the words, and said, how many women would be willing to share their husbands? But you can see this era in the background, it's not something that Qin Tian and I can easily do. It's been reversed. In the future, his road will only go farther and farther, even reaching galaxies in the universe that I can hardly imagine. At that time, there must always be some people around him whom he can trust to assist him in commanding the territory and expanding the territory. Quote. This, you think too far, don't you? Li Changshi was speechless. Far, I don't feel far at all. Changshi, do you know? Originally, Xiaoshan entered the world of warships just to cure me and Xiaoxiao from radiation sickness, and wanted me and Xiaoxiao to be taken in and protected by the military. Yes, you heard it right, that's what Xiaoshan thought at first. It's just that I didn't expect that after he entered, he would awaken the rare double top talents. With his own hard work, Xiao Xiao and I have the current life. Quote. Mu Ningxie glanced at her daughter who was still sleeping soundly on the bed, and said with a loving smile on her face, have you ever had the experience of eating steamed buns soaked in boiled water for 3 meals a day for a month? I have experienced. Xiao Xiao also experienced it. Once, Xiaoshan used most of the wages he got to buy radiation medicine for our mother and daughter, but he spent a sum of money because I fell ill. In order not to be hungry, our family of 3 ate boiled steamed buns for a month. And this kind of case is not alone, there are many. In fact, with Qin Tian's physique that is almost completely isolated from nuclear radiation, as long as he gives up our mother and daughter, he can completely live a life of luxury and luxury. But he didn't just work hard and guard our mother and daughter without complaint or regret. Asking for flowers. There were times when I even contemplated suicide. It is also he who has been encouraging me with his practical actions, making me hopeful about life again and again. And now it's the same as ever. He worked desperately in the world of warships, constantly wandering on the edge of life and death in search of a higher level of evolution. Because he knows, if he does not evolve to a higher level, he may face the risk of being eliminated. At that time, Xiao Xiao and I in this world will probably live in an extremely miserable life without the protection of the power of the gods. So this is why he worked so hard in World of Warships. In the real world, Xiao Xiao and I are enjoying the benefits that he has tried his best to win for our mother and daughter in World of Warships, so naturally we can't hold him back. Quote. Point 0. No, Xiao Shui, this Qin Tian's feelings for you and Xiao Xiao really touched me. I can understand that you want to help him and don't want to drag him down, but what does this have to do with you finding a little wife for him? Find a little wife and you are helping him. Li Changshi still couldn't understand. Mu Ningxie rolled her eyes and said to her speechlessly, it must be impossible to find it casually. Didn't you realize that Nanshile's luck in World of Warships is very unnatural? I found it. It's really powerful. A lot of high-quality warship equipment seems to be delivered to your door, and they can be easily obtained by the other party. In this regard, I feel that even Qin Tian's luck is not as good as the other party. Li Changshi nodded with some emotion. You don't have to feel that Xiaoshan's luck is not as good as others. Xiaoshan just took advantage of his stronger talent. If the rewards and punishments of our military department are as casual as those of the capitalists, this Nangongle may have upgraded the battleship long ago. When it comes to large aerospace aircraft carriers, it's a great ride. Mu Ningxie shrugged at Li Changshi and said, let me put it this way, it seems like this is really the case. Listen to these remarks of Mu Ningxie. When Li Changshi thought about it, it seemed that this was the truth. If only Qin Tian had such a good helper as Nangongla. It is estimated that there is no need to worry about the problems of battleship equipment. 84%. Chapter 426 Change the target and tease the chosen ones from all over the world. Seeing that Li Changshi agreed with her point of view, Mu Ningxie suddenly got excited and said, really, and according to my observation, it's obvious that Nangongla also has a lot of affection for Xiaoshan. So, you said that if I let Xiaoshan take this Nangongle away, relying on Nangong Li's luck, Xiaoshan, will there be such a thing as a small horse-drawn cart, certificate nemesis, battleship running at a speed of 25 knots for use? Nan Wanlili will replace him with new equipment. This seems to be the case. Li Changshi couldn't refute what Mu Ningxie said. Just like Nangong Li's coquettish intention and behavior of forcibly sending the blueprint. Anyone who is not blind can see the emotion in the other person's heart. You must know that Nangong Li said that her own battleship power system, 370, is equipped with myth-level gas turbines. Then the lowest gift to Qin Tian is obviously a mythical gas turbine. Even higher is the Genesis-class gas turbine. Give away mythical level or even creation level equipment for free. If there is no power beyond friendship in the heart to drive, the general God's chosen is unless his head is twitched. Otherwise, they would never give away such good equipment for nothing. So, Changshi, use some of your connections to help me find out. The future journey is still far away. Although I can't help him in World of Warships, I can help him find some people who can help him. Mu Ningxie said firmly, and Li Changshi opened his mouth. In the end, I didn't know what to say, so I could only nod my head and agree. Okay, I will check it for you, I just hope you won't regret it in the future. Mu Ningxie smiled and did not speak. And in World of Warships, Qin Tian didn't know that Mu Ningxie was already planning to help him recruit the world for his safety and great cause. When he was free, he first traded 3,000 caddies of amethyst dragon tooth rice to Nangongla. Then he inspected several planting cabins and breeding cabins. Under the blessing of the Genesis class cabin, fruits and rice are very lush. The number of chickens, sheep and pigs kept in the breeding cabin is almost reaching saturation. When his wife and daughter come in next time, they will be able to have a long-lost shabu-shabu meal. In this way, the day passed slowly. Wait until nightfall. After the live broadcast room is closed, Qin Tian immediately came to the control room. Hong Bao needs to change the voyage target when he comes down. You need to recall all the coordinates you recorded before. Qin Tian came directly to Chu Hongbao's side, and said quickly to the latter. Chu Hongbao didn't write any ink when he heard the words. All the coordinate pages that have been recorded are directly called out. Qin Tian looked at it for a while, then clicked on the Forgotten Treasure coordinates, and said to Chu Hongbao, "This is here," and then changed the destination to it. This made Chu Hongbao startled. "Captain, are we not going to the Sea of Death?" He asked a little curiously. "Let's not go now. It's more dangerous over there at the moment. It is estimated that there are hundreds of thousands of enemies who are hostile to us. Let's go here to avoid the limelight." Qin Tian didn't hide anything, and said with a smile. "Be nice, 100,000. Hearing this number, let alone Chu Hongbao. Even Zhu Le and Dong Zhuang were taken aback. Hundreds of thousands of enemies. Isn't that the amount you would have if there was an all-out war between two empires? It seems to know what they are thinking." The corner of Qin Tian's mouth raised slightly and said, "Those hundreds of thousands of people are all trying to catch me." Hear this. Chu Hongbao directly reset the destination to the Forgotten Treasure copy from the bottom of his heart, twisted the rudder frantically and started to turn. "Hey, Hongbao, show me by the way, how long does it take from Sea of Death dungeon to Forgotten Treasure dungeon?" Qin Tian suddenly seemed to think of something, and said to Chu Hongbao. "Yes, Captain." Upon hearing this, Chu Hongbao immediately began to operate and check. After a few seconds, he raised his head and said to Qin Tian, "It will take about 20 days, Captain." 20 days. Qin Tian was a little surprised when he heard this. Didn't expect it to take so long. But that's fine too. At least he was given a period of time to collect blueprints with peace of mind. Okay, let's leave this matter as it is. Hong Bao, Lao Zhu, and Lao Dong, remember, this matter will be kept secret for the time being. Those chosen by Sea of Death want to catch me and ask me to hand over the key that can open the treasure house of the dungeon. Let's take advantage of this time difference to go to Forgotten Treasure to make more blueprints for warships. Don't let me accidentally say something in the past few days. When the time comes, let those guys get the news and run to Forgotten Treasure ahead of time to stop us. Then all our time along the way will be wasted." Quote. Qin Tian said to Chu Hongbao, Zula and Dong Zhuang. "It was because of my own carelessness before. When chatting with Su Jian, the matter of the treasure house of the Chengxing Empire was exposed. This caused gods chosen from all over the world to dispatch one after another, making it impossible for him to go to the Sea of Death to collect the treasure house inside. A lesson from the past as a guide for the future. Qin Tian naturally had to learn a lesson. Yes, Captain, we promise not to discuss this matter." The three of Zula all spoke in unison and promised. See. Qin Tian nodded. After leaving the control room, he touched the Genesis Class YL 3000 gas turbine blueprint in his pocket and came to the gas turbine cabin below the deck. He first took out the blueprint in his pocket and looked at it. Because it is a creation-level blueprint, so there is no need to advance. Qin Tian directly chose manufacturing. Manufacturing 0.2 World-Class YL 3000 gas turbine requires 20,000 high-quality plastics, 30,000 high-quality metal sheets, and 20,000 high-quality nails. Do you want to manufacture them? Manufacture, Qin Tian said with some expectation in his heart. the goddess of Nemesis, once the Genesis-level gas turbine is installed. Then the high power output should allow the Nemesis with a displacement of more than 270,000 tons to reach a speed of more than 30 knots again. How could this not make Qin Tian excited? With the drawing disappears. Soon there were 6 rectangular machines in front of him. As soon as Qin Tian moved his mind, he used the divine detection technique to check it out. See the above performance indicators such as rated power, thermal efficiency, heat consumption rate, and boost ratio, followed by a series of long digital parameters. 85%. Chapter 427. Qin Tian is not human, he is possessed by a demon. Qin Tian didn't know much about this aspect either. Anyway, install it in a while, and see how many knots the warship can run, and you will know whether it is good or not. Therefore, Qin Tian directly chose to use the 6 Genesis-level YL-3000 gas turbines. With those 4 previous gas turbines being replaced, Qin Tian immediately opened the attribute panel of Nemesis to check the speed. When you see the value of speed 33 plus 5 knots, his eyes suddenly lit up. Such a large battleship is matched with a speed of 38 knots. Then in the future, wouldn't he fight whenever he wants, and leave whenever he wants? Even those light and fast small warships, wanting to escape in front of him is probably just a dream. Beep beep. And just when Qin Tian moved and threw the 4 replaced old gas turbines into the warehouse, suddenly, a private chat notification sounded in his mind. Open it to C21. It was discovered that Cecily had sent him a message. Qin, what did you do to those crew members of the Lot family? Those people are accusing you of crimes in the World Chat channel and asking for material assistance. Qin Tian was taken aback when he saw this. Immediately reacted. What the other party was talking about should be the thousands of Lotter family's chosen ones who were loaded into the battleship by themselves and let them go. Qin Tian replied with a slightly raised corner of his mouth. Hee, hasn't our Honorable Miss Adams rested yet? There is a second reply to the message. Hey, Qin, I'm talking about serious business, can you be serious? I just saw on the Alliance channel that the 2 Imperial military departments, Lighthouse and Sun Never Set, are taking the lead, and it seems that they intend to use this matter to tarnish your reputation. Anyway, you just need to pay attention for a while. Qin Tian saw this sentence. With a thought, the World Chat channel was opened. I saw that the above messages were being refreshed quickly one after another. Everyone who participated in the chat had a great chat. Qin Tian swiped upwards. Soon the source of the incident was found out by him. It's because a God-chosen person with blonde hair and blue eyes sent a lot of messages, several pictures and a video here. Big brothers, I am Joshua, the surviving God-chosen of the Lot family, and I will reveal the terrible secret of Qin Tian, the #1 God-chosen in our battleship world, Yanlong Empire, that is. Qin Tian is very likely to be a demon whose body has been taken over by a demon. I know that many people will definitely not believe me, but after experiencing what happened on our battleship in the past few days, I have already firmly believed in this. Next, I will explain to everyone one by one and let you know what a terrible thing happened to the battleship. On the day when Qin Tian attacked our Lot Island, he plundered the crew of thousands of our chosen ones, and then he drove all of us chosen ones to a ship with no food, no water, and few resources, the battleship, then exiled us away. At first, we thought that he had realized his conscience, he was unwilling to kill so many of us, and wanted to give us a way to survive, but soon we found out how ridiculous this idea is. The reason why he allowed us to leave was that he had branded a curse on this battleship and planted a terrifying parasite. Then, below is a photo of a blood-red map in an empty cabin and blood-red worms lying on the walls of the room. In fact, many days ago, some of our companions have stopped showing up one after another. At first we just thought that they were all hiding in the room, or starved to death. But it wasn't until dinner tonight, when all of us surviving people planned to gather up the food harvested in the day and distribute it equally, that we discovered that our number had dropped by more than 300 people. When we split up and searched all the cabins on the entire battleship, we discovered the tricks inside. As for the hundreds of companions, they have become the rations of those demonic worms. Below are some photos and a short video. The photo is a view of several cabins. There are mountains of dead bodies inside. Countless blood-colored worms densely covered the dozens of corpses like a sea of insects. The missing arms and legs that gnawed on those corpses. And the little video was recorded because they opened the doors of those cabins. Countless blood-red worms crawled into the corridor with the corpses. Glance over. Densely dense and scalp tingling. And with this Joshua's remarks and photos. Many people below really started to praise and approve. Fake. Let me just say, he is also God's chosen one, so how can Qin Tian be so powerful, 1 against 10,000, so he is possessed by the devil. Sibertha at everyone. Ah, I never imagined that there could be devils in this world of battleships. Big brothers, you must kill that devil to protect me, I am most afraid of evil. If I was an atheist before, I definitely wouldn't believe in gods and demons, but the advent of aliens and the sights in the Sea of Death make me believe in these things now, and I also think that Qin Tian must have question. 427 Xiete. The Yanlong Empire actually let a demon serve as the general of its army. This is a big joke for us humans. I don't know how many of their upper echelons have been corrupted by these demons. I appeal to all countries, all the chosen ones tell the high-level officials of their own countries that for the safety of the people of the Yanlong Empire, let all countries send troops to help the Yanlong Empire clean up their high-level officials, including Qin Tian's wife and daughter, and must not let those aliens reappear, endanger us humans. Fart. How can this dog just bark and yell a few times so that people can't believe it? What the hell is demon possession? It belongs to you foreign devils, and we Yanlong Empire don't recognize it. That's right. Don't be ridiculous about angels and devils. We only believe in Pangu, Nuwa and Sanqing. See these remarks. Qin Tian's complexion also gradually turned cold. He didn't care about anything else. But he called for countries to send troops to clean up his wife and daughter. This made him very unhappy. But anyone who would pose a threat to his wife and daughter must be killed. Fortunately, not everyone believed what Joshua said. This let Qin Tian know that there is still time for him to deal with this matter. 85%. Chapter 428. Spend a lot of money to buy evidence. Beep beep. At this time, the notification tone for the private message sounded again. Qin Tian opened it and took a look. It was discovered that it was sent by Zhang Zongjun. Although only one sentence, but the content inside gave Qin Tian a reassurance. Do it boldly, the Yanlong Empire will definitely protect your wife and daughter in this world. Look at the message sent by Zhang Zongjun. Qin Tian replied, thank you. Then he watched the framing and slander of those guys from the Eurasian Federation. Also not used to them. He spoke directly in the World Chat channel. Qin Tian at everyone. Listen to the crew on that battleship. Although I don't know what you guys have experienced on board, I guess your life must be difficult. Within a few hours, as long as someone is willing to provide me for the crimes committed by Joshua and his accomplices on your battleship, I will reward him with 100 units of food, 100 bottles of water, a high-quality watermelon and a bunch of high-quality grapes, and at the same time reward him with 1 million yuan each for wood, plastic and metal pieces unit. Qin Tian at everyone. Don't worry, I don't need you guys to show up to testify for me, you just need to add the videos or photos you took during this time as my friend, and send them to me in private chat, so no one will found that. Of course, in order to add a friend, you must match a picture of evidence that you have in your hands. I use it to prevent someone from making up the number. As soon as this message from Qin Tian was sent out, the entire chat channel fell silent for a moment. All the chosen ones involuntarily gasped. Ruthless. Too ruthless. Water, food and fruit. Plus 3 million units of supplies. There is no solution to this trick of throwing money at it. With this kind of reward, how many gods chosen can refuse? As the saying goes, there must be a brave man under a heavy reward. Although they don't know what happened on that battleship. But in fact, they just wanted to tarnish Qin Tian's reputation, and then take the opportunity to intimidate the Yanlong Empire. But now he is being messed up by Qin Tian, who spends a lot of money. It is 100% certain that someone on that battleship will reveal some unknown details to Qin Tian. Therefore, there is a high probability that their plan will be aborted again. On that battleship, Joshua, who was originally dreaming of getting rich and dreaming of making a comeback with this battleship, never expected that Qin Tian would do something like this. This cost 3 million yuan plus food, water and fruit. To be honest, even he himself wanted to report himself anonymously. But then he thought of what the Lighthouse Empire had promised him. Ruin Qin Tian's reputation. The other party will give him a reward of 10 million inferior materials. Think here. He immediately sent a message to General Gary, who contacted him in the Lighthouse Empire. General Gary, the things I promised you have been completed. Do you think it is possible to trade the 10 million supplies to me? What kind of goods are traded? However, it was Gary's unceremonious answer that answered him. What we want is to make Qin Tian's reputation completely rotten, not let him fight a good turnaround. I hope those guys on your ship can understand something and don't mess up this matter. See the other two replies. Joshua was dumbfounded. He hurriedly sent a message, suppressing the anger in his heart and trying to fight for it again. General Gary, that's not what happened at the time. However, the information was lost. There was no movement at all. Fake. At this moment, he was suddenly furious. He strode out of his cabin. Start to gather your own men. And Qin Tian sighed. It is indeed as everyone thinks. Soon there were countless friend requests. He is not in a hurry. Open one by one to check. Some of them are of course just pretending. There is not even a thread in the friend request interface. Or just took a photo in the cabin to get away with it. These Qin Tian just passed by without even thinking about it. Then he quickly found 3 more reliable friend requests from the first 200 application records. Because the pictures they attach all have pictures of that bloody worm. Moreover, the location and angle of taking the pictures are obviously not the scenes in the previous video. So Qin Tian can conclude. All 3 were survivors of that battleship. Tell me, what exactly happened on your ship after I let you go? At present, I have approved the friend application of the 6 people on your battleship. Whoever speaks in detail and clearly, I will tell him add more rewards. Qin Tian sent a message directly to those 3 people and said. And see these 2 pieces of information. Those 3 people did not suspect him. Because it seems to them, Qin Tian proposes such a generous reward, and they themselves don't have to bear too much risk. This kind of thing about picking up winning lottery tickets on the road. Only a fool would refuse. The 6 people mentioned by Qin Tian are likely to be less. So the 3 of them began to tell Qin Tian what happened on the battleship. After comparing the narratives of the 3 people, Qin Tian quickly figured out the general situation on the ship. It was the 3rd day after this group of lottery families chosen ones left the lottery island. About 2,000 gods chosen had quarrels and conflicts due to lack of supplies, hunger and thirst. In the end, they were divided into 3 camps and fought freely. Among them, the team led by Joshua was due to the large number of people. Gained the upper hand right away. Plus the humiliation of defeat and 3 days of hunger and thirst. Let them fight more and more crazy, so at that time, they killed dozens of people from the other 2 camps. I saw so many people die. The 3 parties then stopped moving. This first battle is over. Then, under the silent gaze of the other 2 people, Joshua led more than 900 people under him to collect the corpses of dozens of former comrades in arms who died. They originally thought that Joshua collected the bodies of those, the Wangjiao people, to give them a decent funeral. But it turns out, they were all wrong. That night, they smelled a strong smell of meat right where Joshua and the others were. Not even a grain of rice was licked clean on the battleship. How can there be fresh meat cooked with such a strong aroma? So where does the source of these fresh meat come from? The answer is obvious. During the following days, from time to time, Joshua and his people would come to provoke them. Sometimes it will be very strong and direct hands. After killing 10 or 20 people, they walked away with the corpses. As for what to do, you don't need to think about it. These 3 people who chatted with Qin Tian all grasped the secret of this aspect. All 3 secretly took pictures and recorded videos. The bloody and brutal scene of dismembered corpses. Even Qin Tian couldn't help but yelled, FK. 85%. Chapter 429 Reversal. The ones who should be checked are you. Especially when you candidly filmed those people cooking. And the scene when it is grabbed and eaten like a beast. Qin Tian clearly and faintly heard one of them retching. As for the graphic array on the battleship, one person took pictures of Joshua entering the room with 2 large basins of blood. As for those bloody worms, another person photographed Joshua and his men using these worms while fishing. And also videotaped. You can clearly see a group of people holding fishing rods. Carefully holding the blood-red worm's head in his hands, he tied it to the fishing line as bait and threw it into the sea. It can be seen from this point. Those bloody worms were obviously Joshua and the others who didn't know where they got them. Then they themselves bred later. Of course, it is also possible that Joshua really got the so-called summoning diagram and was summoned from the diagram. As for those bodies, it is estimated that they are also the remaining limbs and broken arms they ate. Then they threw them in and directed and performed a set of tricks. Have to say, these guys are ruthless at the same time. It really has the potential to be a screenwriter. I don't know if there are any directors or edited small videos in it. Anyway, the pictures and videos thrown out are 683 just right. If it weren't for these guys who knew the inside story, who were paid by him to send him these photos and videos, he might really be yellow mud falling off his crotch, not S. And at this moment, 3 people suddenly sent him a message. Oops, it's Joshua, that guy Joshua brought people to our side to fight. Damn it. God Chin, I am willing to have the supplies, please trade me a gun, let me send all these scumbags to hell. As for the other of the 3, there was no movement immediately. I don't know if I couldn't take care of the fight with Joshua's gang, or if I was given a second by the opponent from the beginning. But in the face of the conditions put forward by the second person, Qin Tian responded with a okay very readily. Then he sent a message to Zhang Zongjun. After getting a blueprint of an ordinary P-90 submachine gun from the other party in a hurry, it also thoughtfully strengthened it with ordinary sea beast teeth. Then he traded the gun to the other party. Sure enough, it didn't take long. The other party sent him a thank you message. Qin Shen, thank you so much, if it weren't for you, I would definitely have to see God today. Then the next sentence, the other party exposed his purpose. Well, God Qin, look at the material things you agreed. To this, Qin Tian didn't feel dissatisfied in the slightest either. It is a good thing for him that the other party's interest is so heavy. So he asked without hesitation. Materials are certainly not a problem, but before the transaction, you have to help me resolve the rumors in the chat channel. That is, this should be. After the other party finishes replying to the message. In Qin Tian's concern, after a while, the other party's name appeared in the world chat channel. Started to dispel rumors for him. Walker at everyone. Don't believe Joshua's nonsense anymore, he is a devil, and everything that happened on this ship was planned by him. Such a sudden refutation of rumors immediately confused everyone who was chatting happily. Originally, they were talking about how many countries should be organized in the present world, and how many gods should be sent by each country to attack the Yanlong Empire. As a result, when the conversation came to a close. But suddenly someone stood up and said that all this is false. I lied to you. How can this not make them angry? Just when some violent people were about to stand up and spray. When scolding Walker for making trouble for no reason and shaking the morale of the army. Walker has already begun posting the evidence in his hands below. Put photos and videos. Inside, Joshua drank blood, and the bloody appearance of dismembered corpses made everyone look stunned and stunned. CBDI. This guy even said that Qin Tian is a demon possessed by a demon. As soon as this video came out, no matter how you look at the text, it seems to be talking about himself. Then when everyone saw Joshua and the others fished out those cooked arms and thighs from the pot like savages, they ate them to their heart's content. Everyone just felt that their stomachs were churning like a river and a sea. Immediately afterwards, Qin Tian was unwilling to be lonely and released a photo of Joshua walking into the cabin with 2 basins of human blood and a video of a group of them holding fishing rods and tying those bloody worms as bait to the fishing line for fishing. Qin Tian at everyone. Hee, that's right, all of you claim to be righteous, believe in God, and flaunt some kind of morally noble person. After a long time, it turns out that you are standing in the same camp as these devils who eat meat and drink human blood. I see that what you believe in is not God, but the devil Satan. Qin Tian at everyone. Besides, this so-called demon summoning formation is really quite decent, and it also uses human blood sacrifices. I think it might not be a fake Koyu summoning formation. Seeing Qin Tian release these fierce news again. How can people not know? All of this was directed and performed by Joshua himself. And the purpose is to frame Qin Tian. At this moment, some people with more pious beliefs couldn't bear it immediately. Cyril at Qin Tian. Damn it, Qin Tian, you can scold me, but you can't question my beliefs, we were just fooled by that guy. Isidore. That's right, how can we believe in Satan? Qin Tian, don't talk nonsense. Lawan. Fake. Qin Tian, aren't you afraid of triggering a religious war by talking nonsense like this? Many people from the Eurasian Federation spoke out and reprimanded. It's just not waiting for Qin Tian to speak. Someone helped him fight back. Ning Kaiga. Oh, what? Is God Qin wrong? People who feed on people are clearly the real devils. You believe him, and you are clamoring that our high-level people are possessed by devils. This sentence it should be used on you in reverse. Oleg Leonidovich. That's right, look at the pattern that Joshua drew with human blood. Maybe these bloody worms are really the products of demons he summoned. We in the East all countries should join hands and go to the lighthouse country to check their superiors. Maybe those high-ranking officials and those who control capital have been invaded by the devil of hell. Valery Antovich. It should be checked carefully. Those damn lighthouse members are clamoring to check this country or that country all day long. I think the most important thing to be supervised is their own country. Support a thorough investigation of them, yes. Torben Alberts. With all hands in favor, the lighthouse empire should be supervised and inspected by people all over the world. 85%. Chapter 430. Walter provokes Fok. How did this Qin Tian get to the dungeon of the forgotten treasure? People from the Yanlong Empire and Maoshang Empire, who had long been annoyed by the rumors made by the Eurasian Federation, immediately began to denounce and fight back. For a while, the two sides quarreled furiously. No one paid attention to Qin Tian's affairs anymore. Beep beep. At this time, Qin Tian was watching the heated discussions in the chat channel, with great interest. Suddenly, a reminder tone sounded in his mind again. Open the panel and have a look. Look at the name of Walker whose head flashes constantly. Qin Tian thought. Opened the private chat interface. Qin Shen, it's done. I wonder if you are satisfied with my performance. Look at the other party's humble words. The corners of Qin Tian's mouth raised high. He didn't really mind who was the leader on that ship. But she is willing to lower her profile and listen to him obediently. That's definitely the first choice. So Qin Tian replied with not bad. In accordance with the request of the other party. The previously proposed materials were traded to the other party in half of the quantity. Walker didn't say much about that either. At that time, in order to protect himself, he really needed a hot weapon to fight back. If not for that gun, he is probably cold by now. How can you be so confident and ask the other party for the remaining half of the supplies? Beep beep. And at this moment, Cecily sent him another message. Awesome, amazing, as expected of you, Qin, you are really rich and powerful. Seeing this, Qin Tian smiled and replied to her. Hey, this is where it is, this kind of guy has to give him some color, otherwise he will make trouble with his nose and face. By the way, Cecily, thank you for your reminder. You're welcome, Qin. In fact, I contacted you this time mainly to tell you that the agreement between us should be cancelled. The other party quickly sent him back a message saying, did something happen? Why was it cancelled all of a sudden? Although Qin Tian was a little curious, he still asked the question knowingly. The other party makes such a decision. In all likelihood, the command of the Eden fleet was handed over to Vanessa to operate. He just thought so here. Sure enough, Cecily sent a message and replied. I have already handed over the Eden fleet to Vanessa to take care of, and now I can be regarded as retreating behind the scenes, and I went to the sea to explore freely. See this message. While Qin Tian thought to himself, as expected, at the same time, he couldn't help being a little surprised that the other party broke away from the main force and came out alone. It seems that the other party has completely given up on running the fleet. Otherwise, she wouldn't even take the powerful chosen ones she subdued. It is estimated that it was reserved for Vanessa and let her go to the town. But he and the other party are not the kind of intimate relationship that talks about everything. So Qin Tian can't give too much evaluation. Oh, by the way, let me give you another piece of advice. Don't go to the dungeon of the Sea of Death recently. If you go, I can be 100% sure that you will never return. At this time, Cecily suddenly sent him another message saying, see this message. There was a slight warmth in Qin Tian's heart. There is one thing to say. The daughter of the Adams family is indeed pretty good. Don't worry, I won't be going there in the near future. Qin Tian replied to the other party and said. Then the two chatted casually for a few more words. He traded a watermelon to the other party as a thank you this time. Then the two said, take care, to each other and ended the communication. Closed Cecily's private chat interface. Qin Tian glanced at the world chat channel again. After seeing that no one dared to mention those topics that made him uncomfortable. He just returned to his rest cabin. Wash up, lie on the bed and fell into a deep sleep. For the next few days, everything was uneventful. Nothing special happened along the way. Qin Tian wasn't leading Rui and the others on the deck of the battleship to pick up material barrels during the day. It is to direct Chu Hongbao to turn a corner to hunt and kill elite sea beasts. More than 3,700 mouths. Eat whatever you want for a day. You can eat about 2 to 3,000 units of meat. So Qin Tian is not willing to miss sea beast meat at all. As long as it is shown on the floor map, he will lead the team to do them. In addition to hooking material barrels and hunting elite sea beasts, Qin Tian also has one thing to do is to open the trading market and browse the materials and goods on it for Taobao. Ask for flowers. 0. In the past few days, he really found a lot of useful things. Blueprints, weapons, clothes. He bought 2 epic and 1 legendary furnace blueprints. Also got an epic air conditioner drawing. He even got a blueprint of the water purifier. Although only advanced. But these only need to be advanced through his divine detective technique. It can immediately become a mythical or even a creation level treasure that other gods chosen can only dream of. It's just that the blueprints Qin Tian collected were not used by the other warships. In order to avoid unbalanced emotions in the hearts of those crew members, Qin Tian thinks it's better to wait until the number of blueprints that can be installed on 10 warships is collected before using it. That's all. Qin Tian leads his fleet. After sailing for nearly 10 days, I finally came to the instance of forgotten treasure. It was around 10 o'clock in the morning. Received a report from Dong Zhuang. After learning that the distance to the destination is less than 50 nautical miles, Qin Tian immediately put down all the work in hand and came to the control room. Captain, Captain. Zula and Dong Zhuang immediately greeted him when they saw him. Qin Tian strode to the bridge chair. Dama Jindao sat down and said, Old Dong, wire the communications of the other 10 warships for me. Yes, hear Qin Tian's order. Dong Zhuang immediately started wiring. Soon 2 columns of windows appeared on the big screen. Hello, Captain. On the screen, the 10 crew members responsible for the normal operation of the warship greeted Qin Tian respectfully. Qin Tian nodded. He said to them, Everyone, next we will start a dungeon challenge. Let me explain the challenge method to you. After Qin Tian, Balabala told 10 people about the challenge process in detail. The 10 crew members also knew their next mission. And in the live broadcast room, as Qin Tian explained the process of the challenge, all the foreign devils watching the live broadcast immediately exploded. Water fake. Who can tell me, why did this Qin Tian suddenly go to the Forgotten Treasure Dungeon? And 85%. Chapter 431 Offer a reward. Use magic to defeat magic. In the studio, countless foreign devils were stunned by Qin Tian's manipulation show. A few even had myocardial infarctions that were almost gassed. Damn it. Our army of more than 200,000 gods chosen suffers a large number of casualties every day in the sea of death waiting for this guy's arrival. Unexpectedly, he ran to the copy of the Forgotten Treasure. Zyba, it's so hateful. The army of 10,000 gods in our great cold empire has already sacrificed more than 3,000 people in the sea of death. Didn't the chooser die in vain? Ha ha ha, I laughed so hard. Qin Shen's operation is simply invincible. And compared to the fury of those foreign devils, the audience of Yanlong Empire were all elated. 6 inches 790, 66, Niubi. Qin Shen can really hold his breath, and I haven't seen any clue of Qin Shen's change of destination in the past 10 days. Ha ha ha, the chosen ones of the Eurasian Federation may cry and faint in the toilet this time, not to mention other small countries. There are already nearly 30,000 chosen ones in the lighthouse and the empire on which the sun never sets. 1/10 of the loss was lost. If it wasn't for the support of the treasure house of the Chengxing Empire, the opponent would have withdrawn their troops long ago. This is good. God Qin couldn't turn the corner. What do I think these guys are going to do next? The high probability is to retreat without success, otherwise it will only cause more casualties if you keep it. That's it, let Qin God deal with them well. These guys who are blind to money, actually want to come and snatch the treasure house of the Chengxing Empire. It's really thick-skinned. After the people in the live broadcast room knew about it, the next step is naturally to notify World of Warships. When he learned that Qin Tian did not come to the copy of Sea of Death, instead, run to the copy of Forgotten Treasure. Those foreign god chosen who had been waiting to sit on the sidelines were a little confused at first. Then they all burst into curses. All of a sudden, various national quintessences appeared continuously in the World Chat channel. Almost all male candidates of the Eurasian Federation are angrily denouncing Qin Tian as a coward and a piece of rubbish at this moment, and dare not try to fight them head-on. And Qin Tian, who happened to notice these remarks, didn't get used to them. Send a message directly in the World Chat channel. Qin Tian at everyone. Do you think I'm blind? 200,000 people are stuck in the copy of the Sea of Death waiting for me to take the bait. I don't know about such a big movement. It's still upright to fight. If you need something, come and find me alone. I will give you a chance to fight me upright. As soon as Qin Tian's message came out, most of the people who had been clamoring happily in the chat channel before suddenly fell silent. But there are still a small group of people who are still blaming Qin Tian for being a coward. Garbage dare not come to the Sea of Death dungeon to find them. And Qin Tian took a look at these people. It was found that almost all of them were chosen from small countries that the country could not even occupy an island. That's why these people can be so unscrupulous and confidently play the role of the mouthful Wang Nai in the chat channel. Crazy output to Qin Tian. But if you can't catch these people yourself, it doesn't mean that others can't catch these people either. Qin Tian, who had already experienced the feeling of money can turn ghosts, once used this method again after being familiar with the road. Qin Tian at everyone. If anyone can chop off the heads of the 4 at Fei Lun at Lemen at Lan Fu Si at Calvert for me, and record a video for me, I will take out 300,000 units of supplies as the reward. Remember, is that each head can receive 300,000 units of supplies. Boom. As soon as this information comes out, there was an uproar in the World Chat channel. Raymond at Qin Tian. Yanlong people, what exactly do you want to do? You have been using this method of offering rewards. Are you not afraid that one day your own name will be bid by others on the World Sky channel? Raymond, the general of the Lighthouse Empire, sent a message to question him, very unhappy. However, Qin Tian replied directly without hesitation. My name seems to be on the reward list of your Eurasian Federation all the time, right? Home. Qin Tian's words. Just get rid of General Raymond and those God chosen from the Eurasian Federation who are going to watch the excitement. Don't say it. As if it were true. Qin Tian's warships were just destroyers before. Just because of his talent and potential, he was wanted by the countries of the Eurasian Federation headed by the Lighthouse Empire. Since there is a reward on the body, that person is afraid of a hammer. It would be better to use magic directly to fight magic. Want to hunt Qin Tian? The army of God's chosen can't do it without 230,000. But hunting down 4 little-known minions, that's not free. And the coordinates of these 4 people are also very clear. I was beeping endlessly in the World Chat channel just now. It was clearly in the copy of Sea of Death. All of a sudden, the chosen ones in the Sea of Death dungeon all started to act. And the 4 people who were so arrogant just now, their faces turned black at this moment. Uglier than pig liver. They looked at the hundreds of companions around them. I just feel that these guys who had a good relationship with them in the past. Now when he looked at himself, it seemed that there were golden money symbols shining in his eyes. This made the 4 people whom Qin Tian called out to be scared instantly. One after another at Qin Tian in the chat channel. Lamont at Qin Tian. Boss, I was wrong. Please cancel my reward. I will never speak ill of you again. Ramses 0.1 at Qin Tian. Me too, God Qin, you will be my belief from now on. If you let me go east, I dare not go west. If you let me go north, I will never go east. Please see, for the sake of my piousness, don't be as knowledgeable as I am. Almost all of the other 2 did the same thing. To survive. Even if Qin Tian asked them to eat s at this moment, they would probably be able to suppress their nausea and eat it. It's a pity that Qin Tian, who has been a man for 3 generations, knows it very well. To achieve a real deterrent effect, then there must be bloodshed. Someone has to sacrifice. Only by killing chickens and monkeys can we truly deter those who have evil intentions. So Qin Tian didn't pay attention to those 4 people at all. Instead, they directly closed the chat channel and waited for the final result. 86%. Chapter 432 Hell Level Difficulty, 3rd Fleet Commander Lan. After the battleship sailed for another 20 minutes. Finally came to the periphery of the instance of forgotten treasure. It's just that the hull of the goddess of Nemesis has just entered the dungeon's sea area. The reminder of the will of the planet suddenly sounded in Qin Tian's mind. Ding! It was detected that the combat power of the chosen one exceeds the combat power of the current dungeon too much, and the dungeon has been loaded with nightmare and hell level difficulties. Please choose the difficulty of the dungeon for the chosen one. Hear this beep. Qin Tian's brows were slightly wrinkled immediately. His current fleet consists of only 11 warships. If you choose the difficulty of hell, you don't know if the 10 warships can withstand the attack of the boss phantom. Just when Qin Tian's thoughts were on the difficulty of hell, a black text suddenly appeared in front of his eyes. Hell difficulty. In the final battle of the Chengxing Empire, Lan, the commander of the 3rd Star Fleet, fell here. Unwilling to fail, his heroic spirit turned into a terrifying ghost warship and wandered in this sea area. Anyone who dared to enter his territory, all invaders will face a devastating blow. Similarly, if you defeat him and dissolve the resentment in his heart, you will also get unimaginably generous rewards. See this tip. Qin 21 Day's heart skipped a beat. See this introduction. The Dungeon of Forgotten Treasure in Hell difficulty seems to be played differently from the normal difficulty. It seems that only one battleship needs to be dealt with here. Think here. Qin Tian decisively chose Hell difficulty in his heart. And as he chooses to finish, I saw that the surrounding sea area changed drastically in an instant. The turquoise sea water, which was originally indistinguishable from the outside world, immediately turned into a crimson red. The sky turns black. A huge red blood moon hangs high in the sky. At the end of the black and red sea level, an interstellar warship with a volume of several kilometers is quietly lying on the surface of the sea. See this scene. Qin Tian's complexion suddenly became serious. He didn't expect that the boss he was going to face in Hell difficulty was actually an interstellar warship. And in the live broadcast room, all the audience who saw this scene were also dumbfounded. I'm going, what's the situation? This doesn't seem to be a copy of the Forgotten Treasure. Damn it. The one floating in midair is not a star warship, is it? Oh, Xiete, did you do this? Why did you make these unexpected movements? Qin God Niubi. Facts have proved that if we blue stars want to see the sun of tomorrow during the invasion of alien civilization, we must rely on our Qin God. My buddy upstairs, there is nothing wrong with it. Look at God Qin. It has only been about half a year since I entered the world of warships, and all kinds of work have directly increased the evolution speed of all the chosen ones by 2 or 3 times. Look at those people who went in before. Except for internal fighting, they just consumed their own vitality and made no contribution to human wool. Look at the remarks in the last paragraph. Everyone in the studio was speechless. There is really nothing wrong with this sentence. Compared with Qin Tian's achievements in the past 6 months, the previous gods chosen were indeed weak. Old Dong, reconnect the 10 battleships for me. Copy. Seeing this scene, Qin Tian suddenly gave orders to Dong Zhuang. Dong Zhuang did as he was told. Soon the figures of 10 crew members reappeared on the big screen. Captain. The 10 crew members looked at Qin Tian, with doubts and bewilderment on their faces. They remembered that their captain had clearly told them. This dungeon requires them to find a fake pirate ship to fight first, and then Qin Tian drives the flagship to find the real body of the pirate ship to fight. But the scene now is obviously different from what the captain said. Tell everyone a good news and a bad news. Seemingly seeing the doubts in the hearts of the 10 crew members, Qin Tian said with a faint smile, the good news is that because our fleet's combat power is too strong, the will of the planet specially launched this hell-level boss for us. As long as we kill the opponent, we can get extremely rich rewards. You have also seen the bad news, that is, the boss we need to face has changed from a pirate ship to an interstellar warship in front of us, and the danger has increased significantly. Quote. Tell me, are you afraid? Qin Tian suddenly raised his voice and asked. Don't be afraid. More than a dozen crew members, including Zula, Dong Zhuang, and Chu Hongbao, shouted in unison. Very good. It's this kind of aura. No matter what kind of ghosts and monsters he is, as long as he dares to block our way forward, he is a stumbling block, so we have to kick him away. There is nothing to say, and that Nemesis will meet in a while. Stand in the front, you just need to output as much as you want in the back, FK it. With the newsletter over, Qin Tian said to the 3 of Zula, the battleship is advancing at a constant speed, let everyone get ready for battle. Yes, the 3 of them responded. Get busy right away. Chu Hongbao controls the battleship. Dong Zhuang made an announcement. Zula turned on the fire control system. Just waiting for an order. Nemesis will launch the most violent attack on the enemy's interstellar warship. Boom boom boom. Sudden. 763 knocked on the door. Dong Zhuang hurried over to open the door. I saw Rui, Union and Su Jian at the door. Rui, Union, Mr. Su, why are you here? I saw 3 people. Qin Tian stood up from the chair curiously, and walked over. Captain. The 3 first saluted in unison, and then Yun Yan said, Captain, it's like this, we saw that the interstellar battleship in the distance looked very familiar, and it was very similar to the flagship of an old friend of ours, so we came here to ask, Captain, can you let Zula and the others scan it to see if it is the battleship of our old man? Hear Yun Yan's words. Qin Tian suddenly thought of the reminder given by the will of the planet before. Lan, the commander of the Chengxing Empire's 3rd Star Fleet. It seems that Yun Yan is talking about this person. Old Zhu, use the radar to scan. As Qin Tian spoke, he brought the 3 of them to the center console. Then he turned his head to Rui and the others and said, Just before entering this dungeon with hell-level difficulty, I got a reminder that the commander of the 3rd Star Fleet, Lan, died here in the final battle of the Chengxing Empire. Unwilling to fail, he turned into a terrifying ghost warship and hovered in this sea area. As expected, it should be the old man you mentioned. 86%. Chapter 433. The fatuous king ruined the empire with his own hands. What? It's really Master Lan. Hear Qin Tian's words. Yun Yan couldn't help covering her mouth. Rui also looked complicated. Su Jian sighed deeply. It reminds me of the ridiculous battle that was related to the rise and fall of the empire. He couldn't help but have mixed feelings in his heart. Captain, it's done. And at this moment, Zula gave a reminder. Suddenly, a zoomed-in image of the distant interstellar warship floating in midair appeared on the screen. I saw that the color of the entire starship is mainly dark gray. The front face of the starship has a semi-enclosed structure. A door-to-door missile launcher and dozens of near anti-aircraft guns are installed above the parts extending from both sides. There is a groove behind the bridge in the center of the starship, and inside it is an energy ball that keeps flashing black light. On the 2 raised parts behind the groove and the extended wings, 4 large-caliber laser cannons are installed. That's right, it's Xingyu. After seeing the appearance of this interstellar warship, Yun Yan immediately nodded and cheered. Her expression was very happy. Seeing her like this, Qin Tian shook his head and said, "Don't be too happy. According to the dungeon prompt, the Lan you mentioned has been blinded by hatred at this moment. In short, it is you who will, even if you stand in front of that interstellar warship, what greets you will not be a warm welcome from your companions, but will most likely be a laser or a few missiles, in order to dissolve his resentment and restore his sanity, only by defeating him first." Is that so? Upon hearing Qin Tian's words, Yun Yan's face collapsed in an instant. Su Jian nodded thoughtfully. Facing Rui and Union, he said, "It is indeed very possible. Listen to the captain and prepare for battle." After all, in the final battle, Commander Lan really accumulated too much grievance and anger. Scattering is also normal. Grandpa Su, what happened in the last battle of the empire? I heard Su Jian say this. Yun Yan and Rui suddenly became curious. Well, if it's not a last resort, I really don't want to mention this matter. Hearing Union ask this, Su Jian sighed deeply and said, "It's our monarch who is too ridiculous." At that time, Commander Lan commanded the last 3rd Fleet of the Empire to resist the Sauron civilization tenaciously. Just when our military and civilians are united, everyone is planning to fight the Sauron civilization. Our Lord left everything in a daze, and fled alone on a spaceship prepared in advance with his new concubine. No one knows where our Lord has gone. But it was his departure that made the Chengxing Empire, which was originally condensed into one strand, completely lose its backbone and become a mess. In order to compete for the throne, the first prince and the second prince actually set their minds on the 3rd Fleet that was desperately resisting Soren's civilization at this critical moment. The captains of several main starships of the 3rd Fleet were forced to return to the imperial capital in succession. This left the 3rd Fleet's tight defense with multiple weak points. In the end, the 3rd Fleet was completely wiped out by the fleet of the Sauron civilization. Our Chengxing Empire, which has been brilliant for thousands of years, has also lost its ability to resist. In the end, the country was destroyed by the Sauron civilization without any effort. Quote. What? Hearing Su Jian say this secret, Yun Yan jumped up in shock. Actually, let alone her, Qin Tian and Rui. Even the people in the live broadcast room were stunned when they heard this. I'm going. Did I hear you right? How stupid must the king of this country be to act in such a stupid way? Didn't you hear what Mr. Su said about the 2 princes? The enemy is facing the enemy, not thinking that there will be no eggs under the nest, and working together to resist the foreign enemy. It's been weakened. I'm convinced of this operation. It's just looking for death. Hey, according to Rushan and their previous conversation, the Chengxing Empire is still a hegemony-level civilization in our Yangyuan galaxy, but it ended up being killed by its own lord. Actually, it's normal to think about it. No matter what civilization it is, once time has passed and the stratum has a fixed line, when interest groups report to the group to keep warm, deceive the upper and lower and wantonly squeeze the people, then the empire will not be far from collapse. Throughout history, which dynasty or generation was not like this? It's also true, alas, the greedy face of capitalist interest groups is indeed the chief culprit in the chaos of a country. While chatting hotly on the live channel, Qin Tian also shook his head and sighed in his heart. The majestic overlord civilization of the Yangyuan Galaxy, the lord of the Chengxing Empire, left his empire and people behind and fled alone on a battleship when he was about to be defeated. Then his two sons actually dug their own graves and weakened the most powerful weapon in their empire's hands in order to compete for the throne. All right, this has to be admitted. Sure enough, like father, like son, the set of genetic inheritance is very clear. And Bian Shangrui thought of the monarch's pissing nature. Also helplessly silent, on basic exercises. This is indeed something that the monarch can do. Nothing much to fuss about. Captain, since you are going to fight Lan, there is one thing you may need to pay attention to. Just when Qin Tian was thinking about these things, Su Jian suddenly turned around and said to Qin Tian with a slight bow. Mr. Su, just say it. Qin Tian nodded and pricked up his ears. I just heard Su Jian say, Lan has a very powerful ability, I think the captain should be familiar with it. Wang Nujiao. Ability. What ability? Qin Tian couldn't help asking curiously. His familiar abilities. What is that? Is it back to blood? Or increase attack power? It's the same ability that you must hit, Captain. Didn't let Qin Tian guess too much. Su Jian gave the answer directly. Will be in. When Qin Tian heard the news, eyes suddenly widened. I glanced at the scanned picture of the ship loaded with a dozen missile launchers and 4 large-caliber laser cannons on the screen. Qin Tian immediately asked, what kind of weapon did he use to fight this skill? Seeing Qin Tian was a little nervous, Yun Yan suddenly smiled and said, Captain, you really need to pay attention to this point. Master Lan's must-hit skills are fired with those 4 large-caliber laser cannons, which can last for a total of 5 seconds, and the damage is indeed a bit rich. 86%. Chapter 434 Start the War. On the importance of shields. Those 4 laser cannons. Hearing Yun Yan's words, Qin Tian weighed himself in his heart. His battleship now has more than 680,000 blood and 40,000 defenses. If you add Su Jian's 30% increase in blood volume, that is more than 880,000 blood. It should be able to withstand the damage of those 4 laser cannons. And at that time, there will be Rui and Su Jian's blood recovery and Yun Yan's defense. It wouldn't be a big problem to have a head-to-head encounter with the other party. Think here. Qin Tian looked at the 3 of them and said, let's go to prepare for the battle. No matter what the situation is, as long as we win, we can resolve his grievances, maybe there will be a turning point in the end. Understood, Captain. The 3 nodded in agreement. Then he opened the door and walked out. Soon, the Phoenix under the control of Yao Lang and the others gave Nemesis undead characteristics. Then after Dong Zhuang announced that it was ready to take off, Rui and Yun Yan took their combat drone squads and flew to the attack range of the opposing star warship to fight. For a while, missiles flew across the sky, and machine guns roared. After the missile launcher on the interstellar warship fired hundreds of missiles, dozens of anti-aircraft guns also frantically spit out flames towards Rui and Union's fighter team. 450. At this time, Qin Tian's goddess of Nemesis also led the fleet to a place within 40 kilometers from that star warship. Hong Bao, raise our battleship too. Qin Tian gave orders. At the same time, he used the detective technique on the star warship in the distance. Name, Xingyu Interplanetary Guided Missile Destroyer. Weight, 1.32 million tons. Main dimension, meter, 708 meters. Health volume, 11,566,300. Ix, 68520-74800. Shields, plasma shield 2 million, strong magnetic field shield 2 million. Bombardment defense, 30,000. Missile defense, 60,000. Laser defense, 60,000. Power system, quality engine. Speed, super light speed. Weapon system, 3-headed dog missile launcher blue X8, meteorite missile launcher purple X4, giant planetary laser launcher purple X4, 20 mm close and anti-aircraft gun blue X24. Fire control radar. Radar system, CBDH feature. Increase the defense bonus of warships by 30%, and increase the damage-free bonus of warships by 10%. Introduction. The flagship of the Chengxing Empire's 3rd Interstellar Fleet has high blood volume and defense power. It is a well-deserved commander and tank in the fleet. In the battle with the enemy, it is often on the front line. When he saw that the opponent's starship actually had tens of millions of HP and such a high shield, Qin Tian's whole head felt pain. It is indeed hell-level difficulty. This blood volume and this defense. If this is an ordinary God's chosen, wouldn't it be fatal? But at this time, he was ready to shoot. Looking at the front, 4 unmanned fighter jets have been destroyed by the opponent's missiles and anti-aircraft guns. Qin Tian didn't hesitate any longer. On the one hand, 4 unmanned fighters were revived for free. On the one hand, when Chu Hongbao had just lifted the goddess of Nemesis into the air, he directly locked on the opponent's Xingyu. Then there was a thought. Must hit more than 20 shells from the talent were fired with the roar of the naval gun. It's just when it's about to attack the opponent's ship. I saw a purple arc suddenly appearing around it. Then the more than 20 shells stopped in midair so steadily. All kinetic energy is lost under electromagnetic interference. In the end, it was very weak and fell into the ocean below. See this scene. Qin Tian wished he could scold her. No wonder these starships have shields. Really disgusting. Just attack with his talent. The entire fleet seemed to be sounded to attack the horn. The naval guns and missiles on the other battleships began to greet the Xingyu for free. It's just that they were all blocked by the super strong magnetic field shield. The same goes for the missiles launched by Zula and Dong Zhuang. Certainly, these attacks were not entirely ineffective. Qin Tian has been using divine detective technique to observe. After this wave of attacks, the opponent's strong magnetic shield, which can withstand 2 million, has only more than 1.5 million withstand energy left. Continue to attack. Qin Tian shouted very loudly with a loudspeaker when he saw this. Boom, boom, boom. For a while, the terrifying roar of naval guns began to ring out one after another. All the battleships started to attack with all their strength. After playing another round, the opponent's strong magnetic shield has less than 1 million energy left. But at this moment, the 4 large caliber laser cannons on the upper tail and 2 wings of the opponent Xingyu began to flash a dazzling red and white light. See this scene. Qin Tian said directly to Chu Hongbao. Hongbao, control the battleship to move forward, and attract the damage from the opponent's laser cannon to our battleship. Okay, Captain. Hear Qin Tian's words. Chu Hongbao didn't hesitate either. Immediately full power. With the hum of the engine, Goddess of Nemesis directly headed towards the opponent's warship. While approaching, they continuously fired naval guns and missiles to attack. Boom, boom, boom. After another 2 rounds of concentrated fire attacks, the Xingyu That 2 million damage-resistant strong magnetic shield finally disappeared after being hit for a moment. It was just the moment the opponent's strong magnetic shield disappeared. 4 huge laser beams with a diameter of about 5 or 6 meters were also emitted. It directly bombarded the entire ship of the Nemesis. See this scene. Everyone's hearts suddenly rose to their throats. Withstand. You must stand up to me. And Qin Tian secretly prayed in his heart. One side of the eyes is fixed on the blood volume of the battleship panel. I saw that there were still more than 700,000 blood volumes bombarded by the 4 laser beams at the moment. The blood bar was directly reduced by more than 100,000. Just don't go beyond the back. The slower the blood bar drops. Wait until 5 or 6 seconds pass. The blood volume of Nemesis finally stayed at the value of 460,000. At this time, the 4 huge laser beams also slowly disappeared. See this scene. Qin Tian couldn't help but let out a long breath. 86%. Chapter 435. 1000 Drawings of Epic Quality Warships. The most dangerous wave of attacks was successfully passed. Next, at least for a period of time, the opponent's strong magnetic shield should not be able to rise. It is a good time to attack aggressively. And with the disappearance of strong magnetic shield, after the hull's blood volume began to suffer, a long blood strip also emerged from the top of his head. Seeing the end of the 1-minute cooling time, Qin Tian immediately hit the opponent's face with a must-hit 3 times. Immediately, a series of -8,977, -9,253, -8,021, etc., scarlet damage numbers floated above the opponent's head. It's just that Qin Tian dealt more than 240,000 to 10,000 damage in this wave. But it didn't even splash a single splash on the opponent's blood bar, which was as high as more than 11 million. The blood bar didn't decrease at all. But Qin Tian was not discouraged either. Be patient and spend time with each other. He has the blood of Su Jian and Rui. The confidence is also very sufficient. Rui can restore more than 80,000 blood to him every 30 seconds. Su Jian can give him about 270,000 blood every 10 seconds. So he put the Nemesis at the top. While taking damage, they shot at the opponent's starship. That is not false at all. Roll up your sleeves and get going. Although the opponent's Xingyu also has the ability to restore blood. But on average, only a small amount of blood can be restored every 5 minutes. Far from being as perverted as Qin Tian's battleship. It's just the only thing that makes Qin Tian depressed. The opponent's strong magnetic shield actually only lasted 10 minutes. It was released again. This made Qin Tian delay a lot of effort. The battle between the two sides lasted for more than an hour. Under this ebb and flow, the blood volume of the Xingyu starship on the opposite side finally dropped below 5 million. And the moment his blood volume dropped below 5 million, I saw that the hulls extending from both sides of the opponent suddenly opened a channel respectively. Then 6 humanoid mechas with light particles spraying from their backs rushed out directly from inside. Captain, the opponent has dispatched mechas, should we free up our hands to deal with them? Zula, who has been paying attention to the radar, asked. No, I believe that Rui and Union can deal with them. Our main target is still the opponent's warship. We will notify the other warships and also target Xingyu. As long as the opponent's mecha can't rush over, we don't care. Qin Tian sat on the bridge and said calmly. Clear. Received Qin Tian's order. Zula continued to aim at the Xingyu. Dong Zhuang began to notify the other ships. As long as the 6 mechs can't rush over, don't worry about them. And Rui here, seeing that the ejection channel of Xingyu opened. 6 mechas rushed out from inside. He directly said to Yun Yan in the channel, Yun Yan, you two, I-4, quick battle. Okay, Captain, Yun Yan responded. Immediately, the two led their respective drone fighter teams to avoid the red bullet whips. He quickly surrounded the 6 mechs. Shish, not to be outdone, the 6 mechas flew forward to meet them. The laser gun in his hand continuously emits laser beams for shooting. It's just that their driving skills are in the eyes of Rui and Union, who are mecha piloting masters and masters. That is simply full of loopholes. The operation is as bad as S. The two of them avoided all kinds of attacks from the 6 mechs with ease. The last machine gun plus a few rounds of missiles. It was very easy to solve the opponent's mech squad. So far, after another hour of fierce fighting, the battle came to an end without any suspense. Although the large caliber laser beam of Xingyu is indeed very lethal. The next wave of blessing will destroy nearly 300,000 HP of Nemesis. If this is placed on other gods' chosen warships, the loss of nearly 300,000 blood volume is likely to be a deadly situation with almost no solution. But for the more than 800,000 blood volume of the goddess of Nemesis, it is completely within the acceptable range, and there is not much impact. So when the biggest reliance in Xingyu lost its effect, this battle is actually doomed. Boom boom boom. After clearing the last 100,000 blood bars of Xingyu with a round of must-hit 3 times, the entire battleship of the opponent began to burst into flames one after another, and a martyrdom explosion occurred. And at this moment, asking for flowers, the reminder of the will of the planet suddenly sounded in Qin Tian's mind. Congratulations on clearing the dungeon of Forgotten Treasure Hell level difficulty. Please select the reward for clearing the dungeon. With the fall of the beep, 3 pictures densely covered with esoteric patterns suddenly appeared in front of Qin Tian's eyes. There is still a lottery for customs clearance. Why is this so meow like playing a game? After Qin Tian muttered secretly in his heart, he raised his eyes and observed 3 cards. Exactly the same, totally indistinguishable from high to low. Thinking of giving it a try, Qin Tian thought. Use Divine Detective Technique to investigate. Creation Class Quality Warship Blueprint times 10. Epic Quality Warship Blueprint times 1000. Legendary Quality Battleship Blueprint times 100. It's really possible. When you see the information that appears on the 3 cards, Qin Tian was overjoyed immediately. Without any hesitation, he directly chose the card in the middle, Epic Quality Battleship Blueprint times 1000. If it is a normal god chosen, naturally, it is better to choose a high-quality, Genesis-level quality warship blueprint times 10. But who made Qin Tian have Divine Detective Technique, such a bug talent that can make items advanced? 1000 epic warship blueprints. As long as there are enough supplies, he can turn these epic-level blueprints into creation-level battleship blueprints in minutes. And these advanced materials, for him now, it's just a drop in the bucket. Besides, Qin Tian doubts why this reward is so rich. Maybe it was because of the first pass. Maybe the next time you clear this dungeon with hell level difficulty, there won't be so many blueprints. And as Qin Tian had just finished choosing rewards, the moment a large stack of drawings appeared in front of him, then the grand announcement of the will of the planet rang out. Congratulations to Qin Tian, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire, for successfully opening up the Forgotten Treasure dungeon with Hell-level difficulty, and the unique title, Hell Envoy, is specially rewarded. The first place in this dungeon, Yanlong Empire Qin Tian, with a contribution rate of 100%, will be rewarded with a blueprint of a creation-level quality warship X1, and a treasure chest of mythical materials 11. 86%. Chapter 436. Yunyan's large-scale confession scene. With the sound of the planet's will, the sound fell. At the same time that Qin Tian had an extra blueprint of a Genesis-class battleship. On the battleship deck, there is also a magnificent red treasure chest. It's just that Qin Tian can't take care of these things at this time, because the Xingyu exploded. This piece of sea area that was originally a black sky and a blood moon has gradually recovered its clarity. The interstellar guided missile destroyer that should have disappeared is still strong at this moment. Uncle, can you hear me? I'm Xiaoyan. When Qin Tian left the control room and walked to the deck of the battleship, I heard Yunyan say these words through a loudspeaker. Uncle, what's the situation? Large-scale confession scene. There are relatives of this girl on this Xingyu. Just when Qin Tian's head was full of 363 question marks, Su Jian stepped to his side. He said softly, Commander Lan's wife is an elder of Union, so this girl is so excited. So it is. Qin Tian was suddenly stunned when he heard the words. Can't help but said, no wonder this girl was so caring before. Su Jian also said with emotion, the time of an era is really too long. Just when the two were chatting without saying a word, there was a response from the Xingyu. Little Xiaoyan, you're not dead. Qin Tian and Su Jian heard this voice. After looking at each other, they both saw a glimmer of joy in each other's eyes. And Yunyan said excitedly, Uncle, that's great. You really regained your sanity. I was suddenly revived by the will of the planet some time ago. Follow Yunyan to finish this sentence. The gate on the side of Xingyu suddenly began to open slowly. Then a handsome man in a white military uniform with a mustache on his lips walked out of it with a fast pace. Uncle. Seeing the man, Yunyan yelled immediately. Then he drove the fighter plane very flexibly and came not far from the man. Let the Genesis-class F-35 vertical takeoff and landing stealth fighter hover in midair. She opened the top cover of the cabin, took off the helmet and stood up. Xiaoyan, it's really you. Great, I never thought I'd see you again. The man saw Yunyan's face. There was a slight smile on his serious face. Uncle, not only I am alive, but our regiment leader and Grandpa Su are also alive. Yunyan said with a smile. Oh, hear this. The man immediately looked around. Soon, he saw Su Jian standing next to Qin Tian on the deck of the uniquely shaped Nemesis. Old Su, have you come back to life? The man sighed, but also asked happily. Thanks to the will of the planet, maybe I still want the old man to see the destruction of Soren civilization. Su Jian said with a faint smile. I really want to see that day come. Hear what Su Jian said. The man couldn't help but let out an exclamation. Huh, what about Rui? Girl, didn't you say that Rui was also resurrected? But then, the man looked at Yunyan and asked. Master Lan, long time no see. At this time, Genesis J-31 stealth fighter slowly hovered not far from Union. The top hatch is open. Rui also took off his helmet and greeted the man. Ha ha ha, it really is you kid. Now Soren's civilization has a headache. I saw that it was really Rui. The man suddenly laughed heartily. Oh, by the way, Xiaoyan, why did you get together? After laughing for a while, the man seemed to have thought of something suddenly, and asked curiously. Uncle, we were all rescued by the captain. Yunyan raised her fair and delicate chin to Qin Tian who was next to Su Jian and said with a smile. Captain, hear Yunyan's words. The man turned his head to look in Qin Tian's direction. Before that, all his attention was focused on Su Jian. So he didn't pay much attention to Qin Tian. But now take a closer look. Only then did he realize that Su Jian was actually standing half behind Qin Tian. And look at Su Jian's expression. It seems that he is also very respectful and convinced of the young man beside him. This provides a lot of information to know, even in Star Empire. Even in the face of that generation of monarchs. The old guy's face will always have that expression of being neither happy nor sad, indifferent to the world, and isolated from everything. He never showed such respect. He turned his head to look at the expression of his niece. The eyes that looked at Qin Tian were also obviously friendly and convinced. Including Rui is almost the same. This made the man have a strong curiosity about Qin Tian immediately. Young man, hello, I am the commander of the Third Fleet of the Chengxing Empire, Lan, thank you for taking care of my niece during this time. Hear the man's self-introduction and thanks. Qin Tian nodded with a smile and said, Commander Lan, you are being polite. Saving people from fire and water is what should be done. Besides, Yun Yan is also a very good crew member. It is not an exaggeration to call me my right-hand man. I still made a lot of money. After hearing this, Lan's eyes showed a trace of satisfaction, and he said with a faint smile, Xiaoyan's control and driving ability is indeed outstanding, and with Shangrui, Your Excellency in the sky can safely hand over the air control to the two of them. But the only thing is that the performance of these fighters of yours is too low-end, and they can't exert their full combat effectiveness at all. Quote. Qin Tian shrugged helplessly when he heard the words and said, I also know this, but there is no 0.2 way. I have opened a lot of high-quality treasure chests, but the energy of the planets will and the development level of the world of warships are obviously not as good as they are now. At that height, not to mention blueprints like mechs, in fact, even the blueprints for fighter jets only appeared in the past 2 months. Yun Yan rolled her eyes and said, Yes, uncle, I heard from the captain that when he came out of Shinsho village, he saw an island occupied by the Zhuer civilization. There was a sword on the island-shaped stone tower. It seems that the sword-shaped stone tower has been continuously suppressing and consuming the consciousness and energy of the planet's will, which has caused the ability of the planet's will to degenerate by more than 100 times compared to ours at that time, not to mention the 7th generation mechas that the leader and I used later. Even the 1st generation prototype blueprints could not be created. Quote. Sword-shaped stone tower. 87%. Chapter 437 Mecha Blueprint, Crystal Mine has been found. Hear Yun Yan's words. Lan frowned and pondered for a moment, then shook his head and said, It should not be a creation of the Zurian civilization, but most likely left by the Sauron civilization. The Zurians on the island are only responsible for maintenance and care. Suppress the will of the planet. But he immediately reacted, looked at his niece and said with some amusement, So. What do you want to say, girl? Uncle, during the previous battle, I saw that 6 5th-generation mechas were released from your starship. I don't know if you have any more. If you have any, please support us. You girl. Hear Yun Yan's words. Lan shook his head with a chuckle, and then he seemed to have sensed something. His face suddenly changed, and he said faster, Oops, Xiaoyan, in a while, my energy body with mind will disappear. It can be seen that your captain is a very good leader, and even Mr. Su and Rui are willing to assist him behind him. From this alone, it can be seen that the other party is very unusual. So, if you want to find me, let your captain work hard to complete the crew loyalty achievement. When he unlocks the loyal loyalty of 100,000 crew members, I will be able to appear in front of you again. Quote. Quote. Hearing Lan's words, Yun Ru let out a cry of reluctance. But she didn't say much, just nodded vigorously. Because she knew that her uncle must have other things to explain. Really, I saw Lan looked at Su Jian and Rui, and said, For an era, I have been troubled by hatred and anger, and now I can regain my senses to see you. I am really honored and delighted. Next in my life during the absence, I hope you can take good care of Xiaoyan. Don't worry, Lan, we will do it without you telling me. Su Jian nodded in the affirmative answer. Although Rui didn't say much. But that determined look on his face said it all. A look of gratitude appeared on Lan's face for getting this promise. Then he looked at Qin Tian again, and said, Your Excellency, Captain, thank you very much for clearing this hell-level dungeon and helping me regain my sanity. Pleasant thing. I heard the other party say that. Qin Tian naturally wouldn't miss the opportunity to win the other party's favor, and immediately said loudly with a slight twitch of the corner of his mouth, Yes, I will complete this achievement as soon as possible, and then form a more elite fleet for you to command. Then I would like to thank you, Captain, for your appreciation. After Lan bowed and saluted, he looked at Union again and said, Girl, remember, live well. Although I can't help you get the 5th generation and 6th generation machines, I have 5 blueprints of the 4th generation machines here. Although there is a big gap compared with the 5th and 6th generation mechas, it is still much better than the fighter jets you are driving now. By the way, I still have some crystal mines there, which can be regarded as some assistance for you. Quote. Talking. Lan's figure became more and more illusory. Even the starship, Xingyu, with him gradually became brighter. Then they turned into a ray of light, drilled into the bottom of the sea and disappeared completely. A bright colorful treasure chest slowly floated up from the sea. See this scene. Yun Yan wiped away the tears that flowed down her face. Then put on the helmet and closed the cabin roof. Driving the fighter plane, she led the unmanned fighter squadrons and landed on the deck of the Nemesis one after another. The unmanned fighter team led by Rui continued to patrol in midair. Be alert to the danger that may appear at any time. He looked at Yun Yan who was approaching. Qin Tian patted her on the shoulder and said, "Don't worry, Union, it won't take long for me to complete the loyalty achievement of 100,000 crew members. It's time to reunite you with your uncle." Quote, "Well, I trust the captain." Hear Qin Tian's words. Yun Yan took a deep breath, then pointed to the creation-level treasure chest on the sea and said, "Captain, we should quickly lower the battleship and salvage that treasure chest. I listened to my uncle, there should be the blueprint of the mecha and the crystals we need." Mecha, crystal mine. Hear Yun Yan's words. Qin Tian's eyes lit up immediately. He never thought of it. This time, under Nangong Li's persuasion, I switched to play the copy of Forgotten Treasure. There will be such a rich extra harvest. Ahu, go to the control room and tell Hong Bao to let him lower the battleship, and let's salvage that treasure chest. Qin Tian shouted to Wei Yu not far away. "Yes, Captain," Wei Yu responded. Then he quickly ran towards the control room. And Qin Tian looked at the creation-class treasure chest on the sea below. Thinking of the crystal mine inside, he suddenly thought of the treasure house of the Chengxing Empire in the Sea of Death dungeon. I don't know if those Eurasian Federation God-chosen who are in the Sea of Death dungeon have any thoughts after hearing the broadcast just now. Will a group of people come here again in a group? Think here. Full of 420 curiosity, Qin Tian opened the World Chat channel with a single thought. I bought it. What the hell is going on? How can the Forgotten Treasure dungeon still have hell-level difficulty? When we formed a team to play, there was no such thing. Damn it. How can this guy from Yanlong Empire come across any good things? We are still here waiting for the other party to take the bait, but in the end, he ate his fill in another copy, which is very FK it. Oh, Xiete. One person successfully opened up a dungeon with hell-level difficulty. I can't even imagine how rich the rewards will be. Isn't the will of the planet broadcast? The unique title reward, the battleship blueprint of the creation level quality, and a treasure chest of the myth level. That's just the reward for the first pass broadcast, and the rewards that come with the dungeon after clearing the dungeon. Zyba, why is it the only title again? How many unique titles has Qin Tian already obtained? Is the will of the planet unbalanced? If this continues, the only title in World of Warships may not be taken by the other party alone. It's over. Those who know that this is Qin Tian's strength. Those who don't know think that this Qin Tian is the son of the will of the planet. I saw that many foreign devils in the channel were obviously irritated. The speech is full of deep envy and jealousy. 87%. Chapter 438 Mechs, Plasma Cannons, 160,000 high-quality crystal mines. And in the face of the jealous remarks of these Eurasian Federation God-chosen, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire is also unceremoniously attacking. Call, I have no ability to force Lai here. At the beginning, I remembered that the chosen ones of your Eurasian Federation often use this kind of talk to humiliate the chosen ones of our Yanlong Empire, saying that if you don't have the ability, you deserve to be obedient. What? Now it's your turn, you can't take it anymore. Fuck. See this message. Many of the chosen ones of the Eurasian Federation were immediately stunned speechless. I don't know how to proceed with the topic. Because it is indeed true. Seek truth from facts. Back then when the Yanlong Empire was in decline and the chosen ones of the Yanlong Empire were bullied wantonly by them and protested in the chat channel. They are the ones who counter with this statement. But now, this excuse, which they have used countless times, has now become a curse on their own heads. This is really the way of heaven and reincarnation, who will the heavens spare? And compared to the depressed Eurasian Federation God-chosen, the chosen ones from the Yanlong Empire were much more excited. I can't wait to deify Qin Tian directly. Qin Shenyu Batch. This wave of operations can be called atmospheric operations. 666. If things continue like this, when the army of the Zor people comes to our world of warships, God Qin may not be able to kill the opponent's flagship with a single hit of 3 consecutive hits. Ahem, brother upstairs, don't talk nonsense. The blood of the Star Wars is 1 or 2 million, or even 5 or 6 million. God Qin's innate skills can deal 5 or 600,000 blood when the attack is exhausted, so to deal with the flagship of the Zor people, God Qin should not be able to achieve a one-hit kill with 3 consecutive hits, at least 3 hits. Watching a group of people in the chat channel talk more and more outrageous. After Qin Tian shook his head speechlessly, he directly closed the chat interface. Never mind. Let them guess what they want. Make money by yourself and develop yourself quickly is the kingly way. Qin Tian was thinking so. Suddenly, I felt the battleship shake slightly. Then I saw Goddess of Nemesis begin to land slowly. After a minute, it fell into the sea very smoothly. And the moment the battleship fell into the sea, hundreds of meters away, the Genesis-level treasure chest appeared on the deck of the battleship, pulled by the mythical-level treasure chest picker. Yun Yan saw this scene. Give Qin Tian a thumbs-up gesture. As for Qin Tian, he was a little disappointed that this mythical treasure chest pickup tool could only work in the sea, not in the sky. But this is just a mythical quality pickup. If it is replaced with a Genesis level 1, presumably this problem should not occur. Put all these miscellaneous thoughts behind you. He immediately led a group of people to the 2 treasure chests. As usual, leave the best quality creation level treasure chest behind to open it. Qin Tian stepped forward to the magnificent mythical treasure chest. Grab the lid with one hand and gently lift it off. Then the beeps of the will of the planet rang one after another. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the Myth-class shipboard small nuclear power plant blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the mythical unmanned fighter jet ×10. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 100,000 units of fine wood. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 100,000 units of fine flax. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 100,000 units of fine metal sheets. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 100,000 units of excellent plastics. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 10,000 barrels of crude oil. When you hear the prompt tone of the will of the planet, Qin Tian was completely dumbfounded. Shipboard small nuclear power plant drawings. Isn't this the construction facility he just needed? Unexpectedly, it came out of here. Could it be that the shipboard small nuclear power plant installed on the Xingyu was blown out by itself? Forget it. Use it first. Qin Tian said nothing. Pick up the blueprint and look at it. Item. Blueprint of mythical class shipborne small nuclear power plant rare. Quality. Red. Area. More than 400 square meters. Production requirements. 10,000 high-quality crystal ores, 30,000 high-quality nails, 40,000 high-quality metal sheets, and 80,000 high-quality plastics. Introduction. A rare building facility that can convert nuclear energy into electrical energy. With it, all electrical equipment on your battleship will be resolved. Of course, there are certain dangers in this facility, but the higher the grade, the higher the safety factor. Advanced. 30,000 high-quality crystal ore, 60,000 high-quality nails, 80,000 high-quality metal sheets, 1,500 DC high-quality plastics, can be advanced into a colorful universal military industry. Wipe. Another one that needs crystals. See here. Qin Tian's heart couldn't help sinking. He doesn't know how many crystal mines can be contained in the creation-level treasure chest supported by LAN. If only a few thousand units are rare. That's totally a drop in the bucket. It's useless for anything. Xiaoyao, let everyone move these barrels of crude oil to the cabin below. I saw that the deck was almost occupied by crude oil barrels. Qin Tian said something to Li Yao. Li Yao nodded. Immediately let the 2 younger brothers run down to call for someone. More than 1,000 crew members filed out in a short time. One person carried a barrel of crude oil and got out of the cabin with a hum ha ha. After 3 or 4 trips, the deck of the battleship became empty again. Take a deep breath. Qin Tian then came to the 7-color creation level treasure chest. For a while, surrounding Rui and the others couldn't help holding their breath. And Qin Tian prayed silently. Immediately, he grabbed the lid of the treasure chest, Li Liaojiao, and lifted it directly. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the epic 4th generation mecha ×5. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the blueprint of the mythical unmanned fighter jet ×10. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining the epic plasma cannon blueprint ×1. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 200,000 units of low-quality crystal ore. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 80,000 units of ordinary crystal ore. Congratulations to the captain for obtaining 70,000 units of excellent crystal mines. Hiss. When hearing the series of announcements from the will of the planet, Qin Tian's eyes lit up immediately. Not to mention the blueprints of mechs and plasma cannons. The amount of crystal ore alone was a huge surprise. 200,000 units of low-quality crystals can be synthesized into 50,000 units of high-quality crystals. 80,000 units of ordinary crystal ore can be combined to produce 40,000 units of high-quality crystal ore. Plus the original 70,000 units of high-quality crystal ore. It was directly 160,000. 87%. Chapter 439 Ocean Boss Vignia. Although these crystal mines cannot break through the battleship. However, it is more than enough to build and strengthen shipborne small nuclear power plant Genesis-class Thunder laser air defense launcher. And according to the previous urine, crystal mines should also be needed for the manufacture of the 5 cross-era epic mechs. Not to mention the epic plasma cannon blueprint that just came out. Looking at the 3 piles of crystal ores on the deck exuding different degrees of light, Qin Tian couldn't help it for a while, and felt a little pain in his flesh. Some crystal ores that I finally got. It hasn't been heated yet, and it will be consumed again in the end. 160,000 crystal ore. I hope that in the end, there will be a little left for him as a spare. No way. At this moment, he suddenly discovered that he had 4 items in his hand. It seems that they are relatively rigidly needed items at present. Take Genesis-class Thunder laser air defense launcher as an example. After strengthening, the attack power of the weapon itself reached 36,000. If you add his tidal increase, at least one wave will cost 380,000 to 40,000 attacks. The emission speed of the laser is the speed of light. It's not the bridges that appear in those movies and 930 games. Be able to see the light beam flying around in the air or vacuum universe. The real fate of being targeted by a laser. That's just a launch here. The targeted target is already injured and loses blood. I don't know how many times faster than a bullet. And 30,000 to 40,000 damage. Even Rui and Union's world-class fighter jets couldn't hold up for a while. Such an epic-making weapon. I want to strengthen it and put it into battle. Then naturally the shipborne small nuclear power plant must be built. This makes Genesis-class Thunder laser air defense launcher and shipboard small nuclear power plant bound together, and both are indispensable. After these 2 objects, 5 mechas are also very important. Whether it is to improve the combat capabilities of Rui and Union. Let Wei's characteristic of increasing the battleship's blood volume by 50% play a role. All 5 mechs had to be built. This epic-making shipborne nuclear power plant has been established. There is an epic-making laser anti-aircraft launcher. There are also epic-making carrier-based mechs. The epic-making naval gun is naturally indispensable. Therefore, the creation-level plasma cannon must also be arranged. That's it. He really didn't know how much of the 160,000 high-quality crystal ores would be left in the end. Captain, how's it going? Is there an armor? And at this moment, Yun Yan's sudden voice interrupted Qin Tian's meditation. He looked up. I saw Union and Rui all looking at him eagerly. This made Qin Tian a little dumbfounded. He raised his hand and waved the blueprint in his hand. He said to several people, "Don't worry, a total of 5 fourth-generation mech blueprints and 160,000 high-quality crystal mines should be enough for you for the time being." Yeah, great. Hear Qin Tian's words. Yun Yan was as happy as a child. Then she couldn't wait to urge. Then Captain, hurry up and make it. Qin Tian nodded and said, "Okay, but I have to take a look." Bang. He hasn't finished talking here. I felt the entire ship shake violently. Wei quickly supported Su Jian, who was almost knocked down. Qin Tian and the others also bent their knees and squatted slightly. The soles of their feet stabilized their lower legs and did not fall down. What's going on? Something hit our boat. Is it a sea beast? Not far away, Li Yao shouted with some doubts. Hear this. Qin Tian frowned. With a thought, he opened the plane map of divine detective technique. After seeing the situation on the flat map clearly, Qin Tian's pupils shrank suddenly. I saw it under the CBDG of the Nemesis battleship. To be more precise, it was under most of his fleet. Has a huge red whale icon. Just that moment, obviously, it was hit by the opponent. Such a huge sea beast. In Qin Tian's previous life, let alone seeing him, he had never even heard of it. Just as his complexion changed wildly and he was about to run towards the control room. However, the grand reminder of the will of the planet suddenly sounded in his ears. Ding! Congratulations to Qin Tian, the chosen one of the Yanlong Empire, for discovering the traces of Ocean Boss Vignia, and I will reward you with a purple material treasure chest. 5 minutes later, the challenge of Ocean Boss Vignia will start. Please enter the portal to face the chosen ones. The battle time is 15 minutes. Friendly reminder, during the event period, the chosen ones are forbidden to attack each other, and at the same time, pay attention to avoid the attack of the Ocean Boss Vignia. The ship was destroyed, or the blood volume is cleared to 0, and the chosen one will die accordingly. This time, the top 3 God chosen who have the most damage to Ocean Boss Vignia will receive generous rewards. The first place will receive a creation level treasure chest reward, the second place will receive a myth level treasure chest reward, and the third place will obtain a gold level chest reward. 4 to 10 people can get an epic treasure chest reward, 11 to 100 people can get one high level treasure chest reward, 101 to 1000 people can get a green treasure chest reward. The rest of the chosen ones will get a reward for participating in the treasure box. Please prepare for the battle. With the voice of the planet's will, it fell. Qin Tian saw that the giant whale boss that was still swimming forward quickly stopped moving all of a sudden. Being stuck there is like falling asleep. It seems that the mecha can only go back and relax for a while. We have met the world boss dollar and prepare to fight. Qin Tian shrugged and said to Yun Yan. Ah, damn sea beast. Why did you choose this time? Yun Yan was furious. No way, this should be the boss who has been guarding this creation level treasure chest. Now that the treasure chest is taken away by us, the other party will naturally come out to trouble us. After Qin Tian enlightened the other party, he walked towards the control room. He had to let Chu Hongbao control the goddess of Nemesis to temporarily leave this sea area. Otherwise, wait 5 minutes for the time to pass. The giant whale and sea beast below will stare at Nemesis 100% and launch a crazy advance. He didn't want his battleship to suffer such unnecessary losses. Then in turn it is cheaper for others. As for the other 10 warships in his fleet, he doesn't need to worry about it at all. Because at the same time that the will of the planet divided this sea area separately, his 10 affiliated warships that were not controlled by the gods chosen had been actively isolated by the will of the planet. 87%. Chapter 440 Take a gamble, come and grab the food. Oh no, it's 9. It may be because there is Elisa, the chosen one, on the Phoenix. So Phoenix was not quarantined, and Qin Tian just left here. Bian Rui was also lazy, patted Yun Yan on the shoulder. Then he said, okay, let's go, the blueprint of the mecha has been obtained, and you are still afraid that the captain will not build it for you. Hurry up and board the plane, and the other gods chosen will come in soon. Finished. He turned his head and walked towards the fighter jet that he had just stopped for a while. And at this moment, a group of gods chosen in World of Warships are completely confused. Water FK. What's going on? Didn't the broadcast of the will of the planet just stop for 10 minutes? Why did Qin Tian make another world boss in the blink of an eye? Hey, do you still need to ask? It's likely that you have encountered a top-level treasure chest with powerful guardian sea beasts entrenched. Oh, Xiete. No way. Is Qin Tian's luck really that good? That's right, if his luck is bad, do you think he can become the #1 god chosen in World of Warships in just half a year? Oh, forget it, it's not easy to meet a world boss, at least go in and touch a few treasure chests. After a group of gods chosen complained, they all started sending. Only when they go in, it soon became apparent that the world boss this time was a bit beyond their imagination. Looking at the dark shadow that is thousands of meters long under the sea, all the ordinary gods chosen who came in felt their scalps tingling. Such a big world boss. How powerful is this fighting power? How thick is the blood volume? Then a group of them all kept away from this terrifying world boss. Many gods chosen from the Eurasian Federation saw Qin Tian collect the corpse of the world boss last time, after the operation of selling king-level meat to make money. This time they all gathered beside Qin Tian unexpectedly. The sea area around him was surrounded by water. I don't know if he wants to prevent Qin Tian from collecting the corpse of the world boss. I still want to gamble and grab the results when Qin Tian kills the world boss. Anyway, Huo definitely has no good intentions. Moreover, Nangongla, Zhang Zongjun and even Cecily couldn't get close to Qin Tian if they wanted to get close to Qin Tian. Those people rely on the rule that they cannot attack each other here. Life and death will not give way to a few people. The shameless spirit of stalking has been brought to the extreme. And when Qin Tian got the news, when preparing to force the Nemesis to crash out of the way, the 5-minute preparation time has entered the final countdown. There is no way Qin Tian could only calm down, prepare everything and wait for the awakening of the ocean boss. But soon Qin Tian thought of one thing. The depression in my heart also instantly disappeared. If it is the previous world bosses, ocean bosses or something. Qin Tian really had no good way to deal with these people's shameless behavior. But this ocean boss is different this time. The opponent's main target was originally aimed at him, the god's chosen who robbed the treasure box that he had guarded for many years. And now there are so many more strict Eurasian Federation gods chosen around him all of a sudden. Isn't that just suicide? At worst, wait a while and retreat slowly when the giant whale and sea beast approaches. At that time, 100% will attract the hatred of the other party. If that is the case, just these shameless chosen ones around him. There is one thing to say. It is estimated that 10 times more will not be enough for the other party to eat. Woo woo. Just after the final 5-second countdown ends, I saw that huge giant whale and sea beast slowly rising half of its body from the ocean. Although only half the body. But the altitude must be at least more than 100 meters. Boom boom boom. See this scene. Almost all the chosen ones immediately launched an attack. Qin Tian looked at the long blood bar. On the one hand, he used his must-hit 3 times. While facing the giant whale and sea beast, he used the divine detective technique. Name: Dark Killer Whale King. Health volume: 76.22 million, 80 million. Hiss: asking for flowers. When he saw that the other party actually had a blood volume of up to 80 million. Qin Tian couldn't help being startled. But immediately after that, there was a burst of unstoppable ecstasy in his heart. The stronger the boss is, that means the better it explodes after it dies. Qin Tian also didn't know whether sea beast teeth were needed to make mechas. But he knows. Create a Genesis class plasma cannon. That is 100% definitely want the best sea beast teeth. Don't know how much it takes though. But that amount is probably not what he can take out now. Therefore, it was unambiguous for Qin Tian to open fire. Naval guns, missiles, and rockets were arranged one after another. After Phoenix endowed Nemesis battleship with undead feature. 0. After receiving the order to take off, Rui and Union immediately took off with their respective drone fighter teams. Fly towards the Dark Killer Whale King in the distance. Boom boom boom. Da da da. The battle became intense in an instant. No surprises. On the damage list, Qin Tian's ranking directly ranked first. More than 200,000 more injuries than the second-ranked Cecily Adams. Such a huge gap immediately stunned everyone. They remember the last time they fought the world boss. 15 minutes of normal fighting down. Qin Tian, who ranked first in damage, dealt nearly 2 million more damage than Cecily, who ranked second in damage. But right now this world boss challenge. This battle has only just begun. Qin Tian's first wave of damage was so much higher than Cecily's. If it takes 15 minutes to finish, then wouldn't Qin Tian want to hit a damage gap of several million? And those Eurasian Federation god chosen who surrounded Qin Tian, after seeing Qin Tian deal such terrifying damage. Although I was slightly stunned in my heart. But the huge greed still made them unswervingly surround the Nemesis. Just waiting for Qin Tian to show his might, after killing this terrifying ocean boss. They are so swarming up the tiger's mouth to snatch food. Gather the corpse of the ocean boss that should belong to Qin Tian to hand fan. Boss that should belong to Qin Tian to hand fan. Boss that